Hi.
Yeah,
Wow,
Josh.
that was fucking lame.
Your
Anyway,
movie fanatics.
prepare to be fucked as we are fuck this movie, and you have tuned in, so you also like fucking movies.
Hell yeah.
We have skeleton crew here. It's the same crew as always. We have the man who watched everything, Mr. Reese
Very
Anweiler.
skeletal.
That's me.
Yeah, that's him. And we have he's too old to be cool, Mr. John Brown.
That is absolutely me.
That's him.
And then we have me. I need no introduction. So
Dusty Alejandro.
that was fucking terrible. That's the second intro I've ever gotten, and that one's second. That's 2 out of 2. So normally we start this thing out with I say, hey, what have you guys been watching? But in a fucking podcast first, I had a friend of the podcast reach out to me via what do you call it, like a private message.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got a great
A
suggestion
DM.
for a movie you should watch for fuck this movie.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, give it to me. What's your suggestion? And of course, like I'm like chomping at the bit. I'm looking at my phone, like I expect him to reply immediately, and it took him like 17 minutes or some bullshit. So he's like, Blood Simple.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes.
So my buddy Dustin Peltz, just out of the blue, says you guys should cover Blood Simple. Well, luckily, my guy John Brown here, he's too old
Just
to be
watched
cool,
it.
but he's not too old to watch Blood Simple this week.
Nobody's
Hell
ever
yeah.
too old for a Coen movie.
So, John, give us a breakdown of Blood Simple, because Dustin Peltz wants to know what your thoughts were.
it was fucking solid. I mean, it's a Coen Brothers film, so of course it's going to be pretty fucking solid. It was.
It's an early Coen Brothers
Yeah, I
film.
think it's their first film.
Yeah.
If the description was accurate, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Definitely had all the trappings of their filmmaking for sure. Super fun characters. The camera work really stood out. Like the shots and just their use of the camera was fucking awesome. I don't know. I kind of like, for all the Coen Brothers movies I've watched, like I felt like it was one of the most satisfying as far as just the camera work and shots. The writing, I feel like some of it could have been a little bit cleaner, because the plot is basically, that was a good way to break it down. Kind of a lot of murder happening, like people murdering this person, trying to murder this person, but bails out of it, and then these people think that, so it's, what is it? Yeah. It's a bar owner, his wife is in an affair, or girlfriend, can't remember, has an affair with one of his staff. Bar owner finds out, is pissed off, plans murder, hires the greasiest motherfucker ever. The hitman character is actually pretty hilarious, because like he's like that guy. He's always been like a fat guy. I don't know the guy's name, but he's like a pretty classic greasy fat guy.
Yeah, he's worked with the Coen Brothers before.
Yeah.
Is it the guy with
I think it's the same guy you were talking about.
the thin mustache guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I'm following you.
Yeah.
Right after after this breakdown.
So greasy murder guy takes the job, then bails on the job, or doesn't do the job, and then murders the bar owner, leaves the body there. Then boyfriend finds the bar owner dead, sees a gun that he knows is the wife's, that the greasy guy was told by the bar owner that she had, and he had taken earlier. So then guy thinks wife did it, hides the body. So there's like this just convolution of people like crisscrossing paths and not knowing exactly what's happening.
So it's like a bumbling whodunit kind of.
It's a bumbling whodunit. It's a very good assessment of it. And so like some of the writing could have made some of the stuff clearer, and some of it was a little frustrating, because like at no point. So the dude, after he hides the body or deals with the body of the bar owner, comes back to this like shitty apartment that this chick's staying in now, and like their interactions just dance around everything the entire time. And like a lot of the shit in the film could have just been solved by people just not dancing around shit, you know? Because it's like, oh, here's your gun. Where'd you get that? And then he says some passive aggressive shit that doesn't tell her anything. And so like there's a lot of like passive aggressive like withholding of information in a situation that doesn't really make any fucking sense. But yeah, the movie overall is just solid for sure. Solid. Not their best movie, but has a lot of standout highlights for sure. Like I said, the camera work was super fun. Some of it, it definitely was like not as just refined as their shit has come to be, because their shit's really clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So piggybacking off of that, so you watched that, I assume, off of my
Criterion,
my
yeah.
Criterion channel. Which Criterion channel, if you don't have it, you should get it. It's actually
if you like film, you absolutely should.
And like film beyond just a mass of new releases every
if you
week.
actually like the art form of film,
it's pretty great. They have like exclusives.
They curate.
I've actually seen like there was an ad for some exclusive like foreign film that like looked really intriguing, and it's like exclusive to the Criterion channel, and like that's fucking cool. I love that they do shit like that.
Janus, the company that owns Criterion, has been getting more and more into film production the past few years, and so they've got movies that are just exclusively on Criterion. Yeah, and they also put out the Blu-rays because they're nice like that. But yeah, it's really cool.
So so right now, what they like to do is like give you like little mini collections, and right now they're doing kind of like a Coen Brothers focus. And so I watched 2 films in the last few days. I watched Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
Also a Coen Brothers film, also one of their early films. This one's got like definitely like one of those like it really gives the feeling of one of those old detective kind of films where it's just like a noir kind of thing where it's just like, oh, I was thinking about this, but then I did this. It's like you feel like you're in the mind of a detective, even though that's not actually the setting. It's not actually a detective thing. It's just like kind of the mood. Yeah. The setting kind of gives you that vibe.
It's the noir type of movie where they're not always going for the most logical or most maybe even realistic dialogue or character interactions. It's all about kind of vibes, and everyone's kind of cool and gangsters. Yeah. But it works, you know.
It's reminiscent of Brick.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking fantastic.
So this film, Miller's Crossing, features Gabriel Byrne is the lead, and I think
he's in one of our podcast movies recently.
What's that?
Was Gabriel Byrne in one of our podcast movies recently?
I don't think so.
I'll look into it.
I don't think so. I've actually seen a handful of Gabriel Byrne movies. I think he's most notably like Usual Suspects.
Oh, he's in Hereditary. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Usual Suspects, I think, is where people are most going to identify him. I know I've seen several other movies with him. He's never usually the lead outside of, like, I guess he kind of is in Usual Suspects. But he's the lead in this movie. And also, the greasy guy you were talking about plays like kind of like a 2-bit mobster kind of guy. And it's if you've everybody's seen Big Lebowski, the guy who's like the private eye who's like, I'm a dick, man, like you. Yeah. It's that same guy. He's got like the thin mustache, you know. Yeah, that guy.
John Polito.
Yeah, and like he's just
that's not the greasy guy I'm talking about.
Okay.
Oh, that's not who you're talking about?
Okay, well, he's the greasy guy in the movie I'm talking about. John Polito. And
he's in like 4 or 5 Coen Brothers movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, it's not the guy you're talking about.
Anyway, this film to me, it's just got a really good vibe to it altogether. Reese and I were talking about it on Monday, and like the only negative to me about this movie, honestly, is just I think that they were so early in their career that like the casting, I feel like if you swap like two actors in this movie, it's just a much better film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as is always the case with them, the shots are just mind blowing.
Yeah, for sure.
Just really good cinematography and just a great vibe
That's
all
good.
around.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Who do you got?
That's the greasy guy.
Okay.
He's also
Classic
like you've
greasy
seen him
guy.
in a million things.
Yeah, you've seen him in a million movies for like a million years.
He's fat. He's always greasy, and he's almost always kind
We'll
of
get a name
crooked,
for you
too.
to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have the name?
Yeah, no. I was looking for the cast, but that just
So
popped
then,
up. I'll find it.
I just stayed with the Criterion channel. I talked to my wife and like, hey, let's do a movie day. And I'm like, I want to watch some Coen Brothers movies because they have this thing on Criterion. And she's like, sure. So then we watched Inside Llewyn Davis, which Reese...
Emmett Walsh.
Emmett Walsh. He looks like an Emmett.
Greasier
He does look like an Emmett.
in his old age.
Yeah.
So we watched Inside Llewyn Davis, which Reese loaned me the Blu-ray like a million years ago, and I finally got around to it.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Have returned said Blu-ray to
Yeah.
Reese after watching the film. Very, very good movie. I liked it quite a bit more than Miller's Crossing, even though I did like Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
It's very much like a Greenwich Village, like kind of like a folk singer, like the day in the life of, only it takes place over an entire week, and it's just kind of like the life of the week of a folk singer.
Kind of a actively failing
Yeah.
folk singer who had like
Actively
one
failing.
hit back in the day that he
Right.
also hates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Trying to hold on.
there's like a mild Bob Dylan reference right at the end, just to let you know that we're in that era, and this guy's not well as known. But what it does feature is Oscar Isaac,
Oh, he's so good.
which he's the lead in. Man, he's been popping up fucking everywhere lately.
Yeah, he's such an interesting mix because he's more of a character actor, I think, but he's great when he does leads.
Yeah.
He's been in like 100 things. Let me pull him up real quick.
Ex Machina, he was the
Yes,
guy.
he's the mad scientist.
Guy that, like,
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
the
he's
science-
he's wonderful, yeah.
Yes,
Each time I've
and
seen
so it's
him.
just him playing like a somber fucking musician, which
Right.
Who kind of
if you
hates
think about his
everyone.
character in Ex Machina, I mean, it's not that much of a
Yeah,
stretch. I
right,
mean, it's
right.
kind of the same dude, and I just love some of his interactions. You know, like where it's like he's basically homeless, but he just hops around from like he plays all these different places, and then he has all these different places to stay. And his
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
he's just like, well, I'll just stay here tonight. And then,
Couches
like,
to
right.
crash on.
I'll
Yeah.
stay. Yeah, he has all these couches to crash on, and like, so he's got this like old couple that's like his like last go to, and it's just like I just stay there when there's nowhere else to stay. Like,
Right.
I'm not getting laid or anything with this stay. I'm literally it's just a couch,
Right.
and like he goes to this old people's home, and they're like, oh, play this song, play this. And he's like, I'm not a fucking monkey. Like I'm not like this is my job. You know,
I honestly think about that scene so often. Like probably a
Dude,
week
it's
doesn't
so
go by.
good.
It's so
good.
It's such an interesting interaction. It makes total sense, but also he is being an asshole.
No,
Like,
he 100% is.
yeah.
And
You know,
then, but
because
then like
he's like, I wouldn't walk into your house and ask you to give me a tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, like I
yeah,
had a dinner
but-
party.
You're also
You
coming
know.
to my house and asking to sleep on my couch.
Yeah,
Motherfucker.
And he doesn't need to be such a piece of shit about
Yeah.
it. But like
no,
you're
he
on
is-
his
he's
side
a
to some
total
degree.
piece of shit about it. But then like later on in the movie, he's like running out of like friends, you know, and
Right.
he's just like, oh fuck, well I guess I'll call these guys, even though I was a complete fucking ass.
Right.
And like they invite him back in with open arms, like, yeah, this is our folk song friend. And it's like an entire new audience of like fucking rich
Right.
yahoos to
Right,
impress. And he's just like, I'm so sorry about last time. Like I
Right.
was in a bad way, and like I don't know. The movie just has a very authentic feel to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, there's a scene where he like hitches a ride, and like earlier in the movie you find like he got some chick pregnant that has like a love interest
Played by Justin Timberlake.
and
The weirdest casting.
dude,
Yeah.
I sat there and watched Justin Timberlake on screen for like 10 minutes, and I had to look it up. I'm like, that's him, right? It doesn't look like him at all, but it does.
Yeah, he fits right in. He does a good job. It's
Yeah,
probably
he
his
does
best
he
role
does
he's
a
ever
great
had.
Job. And so like I'm like looking it up, but like he like this chick is like, I'm pregnant, is like passing him notes like I'm pregnant, and you find out that he like fucked this chick, and like she's pissed at him, thinks he's a piece of shit, even though she had some kind of role in it too, right?
Right.
And so anyway, he goes to this like abortion doctor that they would have back in that time when it wasn't exactly out and about.
Right.
So it's like some underground thing, and he's like, "Oh well, it's not going to cost anything because of the last one." And he's like, "What? Yeah, well, she didn't go through with it." And so he finds out basically that the last abortion he paid for, she never actually went through with it, and he didn't know. And she went back to live with her family in like Akron, Ohio, or something. And there's this scene where he's kind of like from Chicago to New York, kind of hitching his way back home, and like he like hitches a ride. And the guy's like, "Oh, dude, I'm dead tired. As long as you take the wheel, like I'm good with you driving as far as you want to go." And so,
Right.
so he's driving from Chicago to New York, and he passes like an exit sign for Akron, Ohio, and like there's this moment where you feel it, and it's just like he wants to take that exit, like he wants to find
Right.
out I've got a kid there, you know, and,
Right.
like, but he never does, and you feel like the movie's gonna come back around to that, and like maybe it's gonna end with him like, let's
Right.
go see, like maybe it's gonna end with him on a crossroads where he's
Right.
like going back, but it just never comes back around, and
Yeah.
instead it's just him living this somber
Right.
like dead end like music lifestyle.
There's a couple scenes that are like kind of haunting and almost
Yeah.
like there's something creepier going on here or something.
Oh,
but
nice.
like, yeah, it's just the vibes are so good in that
Yeah.
movie.
It's a fantastic
That's
movie.
one that I will definitely
Yeah,
check out.
dude, you got my you got it right there, man.
Yeah.
It's Inside Llewyn Davis. It's on the Criterion
Nice.
channel right now.
It's one of their most unique movies. First of all, in that it like
I mean, it sounds.
it doesn't
very
have to
much
do with
different.
crime,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is like
Yeah,
95%
yeah.
of their movies are about criminals.
Yeah.
But
No,
also,
that sounds super refreshing for the Coens. Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. It in some ways was like a spiritual successor to Oh Brother Where Art Thou, because that movie was so music driven, and it like literally broke records with its album sales and its
Yeah.
soundtrack
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, John Brown. I sold you on the movie without even telling you that cats play a huge role.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's true.
Like,
All right.
like if you love cats, you will love the movie.
I
You
don't
you
know,
will
there
love
we go.
this movie. Yeah, this is a very
I mean,
you movie.
I haven't seen a Coens brother movie that I have not just been very.
Oh,
I
same.
think
excited
this
about.
this
I mean,
might be your Hope Diamond for the Coen.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna dig this film.
right on.
So
Yeah, and
anyway,
the music is great too.
Yeah.
we kind of approached this segment a little differently because we had a request that we were in an awkward position to deliver
Right.
on. So getting the Coen Brothers stuff out of the way, what else have you guys been watching?
I still had a couple things,
Yeah,
of
go for
course. So we had that. I did check out on the Criterion the Isle of Lost Souls, which is the Dr. Moreau, Isle of Dr. Moreau story.
Is this the one from like the 30s?
30s,
Yeah.
And it was a pretty satisfying watch for sure. Every time I watch a movie from that era, I guess not every time, but a lot of the time.
Was this a silent film?
No.
Okay.
No, it feels like probably just past, not too
Yeah.
far past the point of that. But whenever I watch these movies, a lot of the time I'm just really impressed by the shots they got then, like what they could do
Yeah.
that I wouldn't think that they could do.
I don't think I'm so familiar with this movie just from the Criterion like Blu-ray cover.
Right.
I don't think I actually realized it was that old. I thought it was
Yeah.
like 60s, 70s.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. The shots are good. The casting is well, there is a Bela Lugosi in there. You
Okay.
can't recognize him because there's a manimal that lives on the island that is the speaker of the law, and so Bela Lugosi just screams like these 3 lines over and over again the entire
I
movie.
mean, that's Bela Lugosi.
Yeah,
though.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like Bela Lugosi is never recognizable. Like, I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. For sure. No, it was all in all really satisfying. The villain was very villainous. Very well cast for that. Story, the pacing was good. everything across the board was not bad. The costumes and shit were all right. It was funny watching something this dated and old because like as these guys, like these white people came to this island, like talking to Dr. Moreau, she's like, "Oh, you're natives over here. Like your natives are this, your natives are that." Like fucking white people. Like, you're natives because you impose yourself on the island. They're yours now.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But yeah, no, it was very satisfying for what it was for sure. Every time I watch one of the movies from this era, it always makes me want to watch more. There was one thing that cracked me up about Dr. Moreau is like this motherfucker was just like the most confident at all times. Like there comes a point in the story where the Manimals are like about to revolt and just like tear shit down because they learn that he's just a person and they can fucking murk him. And like they're all like rallying themselves up in their little Manimal fucking encampment and about to come out. And he's just like got this fucking dubious smirk on his face, like, "Oh, I see how this plays out." And then he just runs up into the mix like fully confident that he's just gonna be able to talk them down. And it does not work at all. They all just rush him. And he has this whip that he fucking, keeps the peace with. And it's pretty hilarious as he's running from all these guys whipping. If you know how a whip works, a lot of the time in film doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
I remember they're just seeing in Django Unchained too, where it's like, he's whipping the shit out of somebody that's like 5 feet from him. It's like, that doesn't do anything. A whip doesn't do anything when you're fucking literally 5 feet from somebody. Like, really, they could just take it from you. Like, you just kind of like ran a loose thing against them, So that was pretty funny. But no, all in all, it was good. I'd like to dive into the rest of the stuff that spawned from that idea and see if it's worth a shit or not. A movie.
I can assure you that the one with Val Kilmer and
The Godfather.
Yeah. Just no.
Just skip that one.
Yeah. I mean,
I've heard there's some pretty funny parts.
Yeah, I'll watch a
bad
trash movie just to find those little gems and moments.
It's not good.
It's probably on the Criterion channel. There's a movie, I think, probably from about the same time period called A Dangerous Game.
Yeah.
So I just looked it up and I forgot already. The Most Dangerous Game.
Oh, The Most.
Based on I think it's based on a book or a short story. Like a millionaire guy who lures people to his island so he can hunt them.
Yeah.
But very similar vibes.
Also, this I think this is based on an H.G. Wells story.
Yeah.
I think, and I didn't realize that, which is pretty cool and interesting. Next thing I want to talk about, I've talked to you guys about it. I don't think I talked about it on here. Movie that I had heard about, looked at several times on Shudder that I never pulled the trigger. And then I finally, actually, I think when I started watching it, it was already like in progress. And I think it was like one of those moments where we wanted to watch a movie, but it was in a foreign language, so we didn't commit.
Yeah.
But then we did. And it was fucking fantastic. When Evil Lurks. Spanish possession film. Super unique in the possession genre, I'd have to say. Like, definitely like does a lot of things differently. They do a lot of world building they do world building simply through dialogue. The possession is not like unknown, it's familiar. Like, you get the vibe that there's like a fucking pseudo-apocalypse of possession at some point where they like characters literally say like, yeah, God's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just not here anymore, and this is just a thing that we deal with now. But
there was a Ridley Scott did a TV show. I only watched like the first episode or two of, called Raised by Wolves. It's a big sci-fi epic.
I watched. I feel like I watched most of that.
I've heard it's a really fun show.
You told me. I remember you telling me about it. And it piqued my interest.
Dude,
But he is in that show. He is like not. He does not beat around the bush with any of the religious imagery or metaphors. There's like an invading like space guys or whatever. They are in a ship called Heaven.
Oh yeah.
And at one point they are on Earth and their ship gets blown up and they go, Heaven, are you there, Heaven? Come in, Heaven.
Yeah. No, God's not here, man. God's not here, man. So yeah, this movie was sweet. The best part of this film was the world building and just like the kind of process and like everything behind the possession was just super uniquely approached. I felt like in this mass thing, but it's basically these two brothers that own a farm find out that, well, one, they find just a fucking dead body on their property, which is like cut in fucking half, like it's literally just like some legs and some shit and some wacky looking, you know, mid 19th century looking devices, and it ends up that this is like a fixer for demonic possession, basically called in by the state, which is one other thing that's interesting about the movie is like they approach the police and like the state is aware of possession. Like everyone's aware that possession is like legit. This is a thing that happens. But then they find out this another person that lives on the same property has someone possessed there in the first stage of this possession, which is like it roots in one person that they call the rotten, and then it kind of subtly spreads from that person unless that person dies, and then it spreads like fucking wildfire, which obviously enough it ends up doing in the movie because these guys try to deal with the situation. They talk to their landlord, and the landlord's like, fuck, we gotta deal with this. So they try to forcibly remove this rotten person, which is one of the grossest fucking things I've seen in a long time in film. It's fucking nasty. The fucking practical effects for this are just top fucking notch. This person is like bloated like fucking 500 pounds, covered in fucking boils and pustules, oozing fucking green shit, wheezing, just like the worst. They pull him out on a fucking like a blanket, and he's just like fucking waxcloth, cheesecloth, dripping green shit underneath. So they try to move him like it's like, oh, let's take him 300 miles this way, it'll be fine. No, they fuck that up. It's not fine. And so the landlord gets a possessed goat on his property. This is when it really just like shit goes. The movie goes pretty quick and just hooks you pretty fast because you see that, you see the grossness there. They think everything's hunky-dory, goes back to the landlord, and his wife calls him out to his field, and there's this goat that she just fucking knows is possessed amidst this herd of goat. And he knows it's possessed too, and he brings out this gun, which the only frustrating thing about this movie is they do a really good job at no, it's not a prop thing. It's a writing thing.
I thought you were going to go, and the gun is so unrealistic.
No, it's so they do
a double barrel shotgun.
They do a kick-ass job of establishing the world building through dialogue, but they present to you immediately, and all the characters are aware that there are rules to how this shit works, and every character all along the way disregards how the rules work.
Yeah.
Fucking across the board. The only fucking thing that makes it make any sense is that they present to you in the writing that this happened like 40 years ago. So the characters you're dealing with were probably children when this happened. So they're not like 100% familiar with the process. So they're like maybe not believing of the rules, yada, yada, yada. So they cover it exactly well enough, so that's nice. But a guy runs out with a gun, and his wife's like, don't kill it, don't kill it, don't kill the goat. And he shoots up all the other goats, and this goat is very clearly possessed because just staring this motherfucker down. You know, like, he's holding the fucking double-barrel shotgun up to it, and the goat...
It is a double-barrel.
It is a double-barrel, which is the perfect thing for a farmer to have. So this goat just, like, is staring this motherfucker down and just, like, slowly walks up and puts its head against the double-barrel shotgun. Like, the goat just, like, boop, do it. And the wife's like, no, don't do it. And then he pulls the trigger. And the wife, all the time that she's been saying this, has been standing by like a chopping block for like splitting wood. And as soon as the fucking trigger's pulled, axe to this motherfucker's face. He's like, blah, he's down. And then it just shows the wife just axe her own face to kill herself. Wow. So as soon as a thing is killed in this possession scenario, like it spreads like that. Like that goat died, his wife immediately possessed, murks this motherfucker, kills this guy. So, and that was fucking brutal scene. Like, this movie has some of the most brutal shit I've seen. Immediately after that, the brothers leave their farm, and this again, they're like, oh, we have to leave everything behind because everything has the taint of possession on it. And they go to his ex-wife's house. He's trying to get
Possession's taint.
And he's there, and he's like, we need to leave. We need to leave right now. And he's like, the whole time, like, give me new clothes. I need new clothes. I can't wear these clothes. I was around possession with these clothes on. I have to have new clothes. And they're arguing, fucking screaming at each other. She gives him new clothes, and he changes in her fucking living room and just leaves the clothes on the floor. And they continue to argue. And, like, one of the other rules that they have established in this movie is, like, animals are affected first, i.e. goat. And there's this big-ass fucking dog in this house. This big-ass, mean-looking dog. And there's these 2 little kids in this house. And, well, they're bullshitting and arguing and stuff, and you see this big-ass fucking dog sniffing the fuck out of these clothes. It's like, okay, I know what's happening next.
Then he
you get
eats
to
the
see
kids.
a fucking 8-year-old girl brutally murdered by a dog.
Is it like a what kind of dog is it?
It's like a fucking, I don't know, bull mastiff type thing.
That's
Like,
exactly
it's a
what I
mean looking
thought.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Like a real
But yeah, so
giant
you
dog
see,
thing.
you see the dog like standing next to the girl as these idiots are fucking arguing, and it just fucking snatches her face and it runs under the table. Then her little brother comes over and looks under the table, and like, goddamn, dude, like this thing's just fucking flopping this thing around like a rag doll. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, like every fucking
So it's a
gore-
horror film.
Yeah, dude, it's the most
It's a comedy.
most intense shit I've seen in a
name of the
movie for
film
a
again?
while. When Evil Lurks.
Okay.
And you watched it on Shudder?
Yeah. No, it's like every kill scene. There's another scene where the mom ends up. So again, father of the son or father of the daughter, which is not the main character, goes out to get the dog, and of course takes a gun. And everybody's like, "Don't kill the fucking dog! Don't kill the fucking dog!" Guess what he does? Kills the fucking dog. And then he comes home and fucking runs over the wife.
Jesus.
She gets possessed. So later in the movie,
Is it just like the whole town gets
yeah,
slaughtered?
no, it's just like Matt. Like it's just, dude. It's like
Wow.
it's cool. Like the bubonic plague of possession.
Yeah.
It just pop, 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 pop. But yeah, the ex-wife ends up coming back and finding the main characters where they are and taking the son, and they end up trying to find her. And there's a scene where the other brother, the uncle, finds her walking along a road, and he's like turning his lights on and off because you're not supposed to use electricity around the shit because it makes it worse. And by now they're kind of following the
Wait,
rules.
I don't recall. Did you say, is this a period movie?
No, it's
No?
modern.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Spanish. But you
They're
you
not
see-
quite up to where we are, but a few
Yeah.
years back.
No, you see, so he's turning the lights on and off, and he sees her down this road, and you see her just kind of walking slowly. And you see a bunch of shit on the road, and then he like drives up real slow next to her, and she just holding the corpse of this fucking 9-year-old boy with his head fucking like agape, caved in, and she just like grabbing brains like popcorn, like
Jesus.
fucking goddamn. So if you want a really solid horror movie, they do fuck up the ending, like basically every horror movie does. It's totally worth. I'm not gonna tell you how, but every horror movie fucks up the ending. But now, like, only like 5% don't. You know, it takes Fede
That's-
Alvarez to not fuck up the ending of a movie.
That's why I thought Smile 2 was pretty
Yeah.
fucking baller, because
No,
they go up somewhere in the ending that I was like, this feels like the logical ending, but like I don't feel like they have the balls to do it, and then they did it. I
Yeah.
was like,
No, I
okay.
feel like at this point, like when a horror movie doesn't fuck up the ending, that like takes it to a whole other tier.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like-
No, a lot of these real popular indie ones too, like it was Cuckoo and Longlegs and a few others where like I do really like the movies. I just feel like the endings were really unsatisfying
Yeah,
and
no,
didn't
for sure.
and kind of just flopped.
Horror
Yeah.
movies my whole life.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
most of them are, and this one does the same thing. It has a perfect ending, albeit a little frustrating in a vacuum in the moment that it is. It has a perfect ending. So like, there's a moment I recommend if you watch this movie, and you're like, fuck, there's a good ending. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Like when there's about 10 minutes left, just man, it's fine. Just boop.
We can't do that. You know we can't do that.
But yeah,
We can't just pretend it didn't happen.
All in all, the extra bit is just like more need for gross shit
Yeah.
in like ways that don't make sense. So
I always hate the films that don't end soon enough. Where it's
yeah,
like,
no,
Yeah.
when you drag
I've
it
seen
on.
films. I can't name any, but like I've seen films where it's just like, oh, this would be a good play. Oh, is that the ending? No. Okay, there's more stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the
A
ending.
couple times.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a great example. It's In a Violent Nature. That movie should have ended like 3 times.
We've all seen -1 multiple times, right? Well,
Yeah.
not multiple times, but you see it.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
I love the movie, and I have come to be okay with the ending, but I do feel like
Yeah.
if it ends right before he goes back to see his wife is alive,
Yes.
it feels like so much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
you know, I've come to peace with the ending.
You know,
but you know, I've
it's-
definitely those
endings,
movies exist a
you know,
lot.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Writing an ending to a story is hard, so I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that movie's fucking sweet. Is any criticism I have of any part of it, it's a wonderful fucking thing. The practical effects are crazy.
I get the title again, John. Already.
When Evil Lurks. Super just classically hopeless, disturbing horror, you know. And the last thing I have to talk about, which I haven't finished it yet, but I started watching The Penguin Show on HBO,
Oh yeah.
and it's fucking fantastic, man.
Now you have seen
Yes.
Robert Pattinson's Batman,
Yeah.
and
So-
you liked
I
it.
like it.
Okay.
I have
So,
things to say, but I do
yeah.
like it.
I'm going to interject here because one of the films on what I've been watching is The Batman.
Oh.
I finally broke down and watched it, mostly because I wanted to watch this Penguin series.
Yeah.
It looked kind of interesting, and it's like
Yeah.
I kind of did a mild research and realized that I kind of needed to watch the Batman before I watched the series.
You had to watch the 3-hour prequel.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
watch the 3-hour prequel. So we've talked about it previously.
We have.
And John, you and I feel the same about the lead here, and that we both love The Lighthouse. And after watching The Lighthouse, we think that
I was so excited
Robert
to see
Pattinson,
more
like,
Robert
you have all
Pattinson.
these visions, and you would express to me that like he kind of got it with Batman, but not really with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And then after watching the movie, I realized like, well, they didn't write Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. No, and that's what
Like-
we've
like-
talked
like-
about
like,
before. Yeah.
like, Bruce Wayne doesn't exist in this movie,
Yeah.
really. You know,
Right.
like.
But I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I think the point is
Yeah.
that like he is so given himself over to Batman that he doesn't even want to be
Yeah.
Bruce
Which
Wayne.
and
anymore.
that is what I like about the movie.
Yeah.
Is it looks at that and it looks at like the Batman being Batman. It just sucks because like I wanted to see some good acting from Robert Pattinson, and well, you just get the Batman,
yeah.
which
You know what it seemed like to
anybody
me?
could play the
His-
Batman.
His
Yeah.
performance to me seemed like a really good The Crow performance.
Yeah.
If they would have cast him for The Crow, he fucking killed it.
Yeah.
But no, it's
it was Batman.
How many times have they remade The Crow? God damn.
I really like what the movie was doing. I like the scope of the story. I like how I like the fact that it was a little bit darker. There was like higher stakes. It wasn't just like there's like real like fucking terrorist shit happening, like really
Yeah.
dangerous intense things happening. I like the movie
That was
overall.
honestly, I think they pulled it off
I
pretty
hated
well.
the fucking beginning montage though.
But I thought
I hated
like
the ending with the Joker.
yeah, that was
The plug in,
unnecessary.
yeah, no, they have to do it by now.
Like, let's just do some. Ha ha ha!
Well, it's like DC has a contract. Like, if you
Yeah.
fuck with Batman, like, you got a Joker in there.
You gotta put the Joker in, which I know like fans like the Joker, but like the movie did not need a 5-minute scene of going, "Hey guys, remember the
Yeah,
Joker?"
No, it
Well,
didn't.
it's just like let's get some like I'm
Yeah,
crazy too.
it should
Ah.
It should
also-
have been contained.
Yeah, my biggest pet peeve with the Riddler is people always just turn it into a Joker ripoff because like no one ever seems to know what to do with the character.
Yeah.
And I really liked kind of where they were going with the Riddler until like the last 5 to 10
Yes,
minutes where they
yeah.
made him like, I'm a crazy man, you know,
Yeah.
like
no, yeah, exactly.
it's just the Joker.
I agree with that completely because it was like there was a lot of fresh takes on things in this movie, even though I don't think that they went hard enough. Like it's darker than some Batman, but
Yeah.
I wanted like
Well, it's goth
way-
Batman. It's 100% good. Like that's why I say he's like Eric Draven. Like
yeah.
he's literally the Crow character as Batman. Like,
Yeah.
That's
No,
the character he plays.
and that's the thing that sucks is what I want, what I think we need is like a fucking.
Be like, hey, can't rain all the time.
Yeah. what I think we need from Batman is like a really dark Batman. And now I will say, like, maybe after this, in the sequels to this, maybe he'll get darker and we can get more of that.
In
so that's
the
my hope.
Batman Part 7.
Yeah.
He will at that point have his Robin.
I mean,
his Robin
I
gets
thought
murdered
Christian
and then
Bale
he
was
goes
the dark
insane.
Batman.
I mean, he could have been, but we didn't get that. He was dark-ish. But
I
not-
think John is wanting a slimy, dirty, muddy
I
Batman.
want- I want fucking American Psycho Christian Bale. To
oh,
play
you
Batman.
want like Batman that is like actually a
rapey
criminal,
Batman.
like insane.
No, I want a fucking insane Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, stop himself. Like, you know, like, not actually rape people.
Yeah, this is
but,
actually a good
like,
film
maybe
that we
want
should-
to and,
we
like,
should just
stop
make
right
this
there.
film.
No, I mean, that's so after...
Once
Batman-
upon a time in Gotham.
After
Batman is actually the villain, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
Like we could write that movie.
after Joaquin Phoenix's Joker,
That's
that's
the
what I
twist.
wanted.
Yeah.
Because, like, we went to such a cool space in comic book movies with that film. And it was flipping the whole mythos of Batman upside down. Like, fuck, like, that would have been so good to see just
Yeah.
a damaged, brutally damaged, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing half the time, Batman.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted. But we got, which is fine, but it's kind of dark. It's like goth dark, which goth isn't that dark because these fucking kids buy all their shit from a Hot Topic. How dark is Hot Topic, guys?
I mean, at
Like,
the end of the
come
day,
on.
it is Batman. Like, you can only
I know.
expect so much from a character without asking it to be a different character.
Well,
you know?
no, but that's the thing. Like, when you look at a lot of the different, like, animated stuff in Batman
Mhm.
and a lot of the comics in Batman, Batman's went to really fucking dark places. Like, Frank Miller's Batman is pretty fucking dark. Like, the contents exists.
Yeah.
It's just not in film because they haven't went there yet. They've been towing the line too much.
Yeah.
And so that's what sucks. But overall, I was satisfied with the movie. But it's okay if I didn't like it. So I now fucking love the Penguin.
That's good.
I fucking love the Penguin. Dude, it's so good.
I've heard a lot of people say they like it more than the Batman.
Colin Farrell playing the Penguin.
He's unrecognizable in
Makeup.
vision or voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
He's so funny too.
like, it's
He is like he's the funniest, I mean, easily the funniest part of the movie, right?
yeah. So you get a lot more out of him obviously in the series, and you get a lot of depth, man. Like, that's why I like it a lot, because there's a lot of depth to him. They establish a lot of depth. It's a different Penguin than you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
It's more traditionally a gangster for sure, but it's good. It's fucking awesome. Like, it's impressive that you can't recognize him at all, but, like, don't think that it's, like, sticky. Like, it's really cool. You look so different, sound so different. Like, he's giving you, like, in Bruges level performance.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's fucking good, man. It's really good. So I'm 4
definitely gonna
episodes.
check it out.
Yeah, I'm 4 episodes in. I think that you'll be very satisfied with it.
The female lead,
Yeah, the one that plays the Falcone daughter.
yeah, she's so fucking cute.
No, it's good. So
That's a
that's
selling point.
that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. Definitely recommend it. And it does pick up, like, literally right when the Batman ends. Like,
I don't know where somewhere I got my wires crossed, and I thought for sure it was a prequel to the Batman. So
No,
I
no,
guess
it's-
I'm actually impressed that it's
it's
straight
so-
up sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it literally starts with news coverage covering what happened in the Batman.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to piggyback off of some content here and segue into what Reese has been watching. And I've been a little critical of John Brown for his take on the movie that, to my knowledge, he has not seen, which is the Joker sequel,
Yeah.
which I think we all know.
I mean, I
we
I
all
would
know is
just
bad, but it's the specific take of, you knew it was doomed when they cast a pop star as like the co-lead, and I thought that like this is coming from somebody who hasn't seen Lady Gaga in enough starring roles to really give her due.
That's
So,
fair. Yeah.
Last night, I saw Wicked,
Oh yeah.
and I saw Ariana Grande as a pop star cast in exactly the role John Brown was talking about. And Reese, you also saw Wicked, I saw.
I did. Yeah, I
So
wasn't.
let's talk about this, because I feel like What John was describing was just him unfamiliar with Lady Gaga's.
What I was just
what you were describing is Ariana Grande in Wicked, because let me state here, I don't think Ariana Grande was bad in Wicked. I think she was actually perfect for it. But like her character was very like shallow and like
manipulative.
Was just the character that she already is. And so that's the thing. Like, I won't say that Lady Gaga is not competent as an actress.
I just think she's got acting chops. I think.
I'm not going to say that she doesn't, because I haven't seen her in enough things. The thing that I was really saying, the point that I make with that is that when you bring in someone that's so established already, it can potentially skew the project to them, to what they do.
I think the movie misused Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I think Lady Gaga was decent in the movie, still not great because of what she was having to do.
She they had nothing for her.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that like she was literally, you could tell she was trying not to sing as good as she could.
Yeah.
So she didn't like just blow Joaquin out of the water.
Right.
That's like, then why did you cast her? Don't hire someone who's like a literal award-winning singer and then make them not sing,
award-winning shit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I've never assumed or said. The only other thing that I've watched with Lady Gaga in it at all that I did not finish because it was fucking stupid was
the American Horror Story.
The American Horror Hotel
that
thing.
Season was kind of trash.
Yeah. But
so on to Wicked here. What did you think, Reese? I'd like to get your take on this.
I've always been interested. I love musicals. I've always been interested in movie adaptations of big Broadway musicals, because I'm not going to go see it. Right.
This is, and just so everybody knows, this is a 3-hour film.
This is a 3-hour film,
and it's Act 1.
Well, it's 2 hours 40 minutes.
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it's Act 1. I mean, you get half the play.
And it is the dumbest thing because, like, I'm on Wikipedia or I'm on Letterboxd now, right? It's not called Wicked Part 1. It's just called Wicked. They advertised it as Wicked. It is,
when you actually watch the film, it does say Wicked Part 1.
That's what I'm. I'm annoyed by that.
Credits, it literally says Part 1.
Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah.
You pay your ticket, you sit down, you get into the movie, and then it tells you this is Part 1. That is like. Look, people will go see a Part 1 and a Part 2, right? Everyone, like Avengers, Dune, Harry Potter. These have been successful movies that split into 2 movies, and they didn't like hide it. So I don't understand why people keep doing this, where you technically they're not telling you up front that it's Part 1. But yeah, I'm baffled by the because apparently the stage production is about 2.5 hours long. This movie by itself is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it's half the story. I don't understand why they felt the need to do that.
Fluff, yeah.
They could have even made a 3-hour movie, and it still would be a half hour longer than the stage play. Isn't that plenty of time?
Yeah.
It just literally feels like a cash grab, which is annoying. But I think I went into it with a kind of mixed to low expectations, negative to low expectations, because I think I've been way flooded and over stimulated with the fucking advertising.
Yeah.
You just see something so often, and it's so poppy and kitschy and big and bright, and honestly, the trailers look cheap, and you assume it's got to be terrible because you're tired of hearing about it. And then I went to go see it because I had some friends, and the only way I thought I'd really enjoy it is if I could see it with a few people who actually were familiar with it and wanted to see it. That's just the best way to.
I saw it with my wife.
Go into a movie.
She's read all of the Oz related books, and so she loves the content.
And I went with 3 people who have seen like the stage production 3 times, so they love the story, and that's fun, and that makes you want to enjoy it and see what they like about it. So I was impressed. I thought, as far as production. Like costumes, sets, visual, special effects, amazing. Really the scale of stuff you just don't get to see very often in a
Right.
fantasy movie because
Yeah.
like people don't invest in fantasy.
Yeah.
But like it's just a cool visual for the most part.
right.
The music was fine. You know, I
Liked
liked
what it was. I could
yeah,
assume.
you know, it's not
Is that
like
what
it
you
wasn't a
expect?
big surprise to me. These songs have been around for like 2 decades. I've never like dived into them.
The
But
music, I kind of had to me, the music was. So I couldn't help but think about Sweeney Todd as I was watching this because it's the last musical I watched,
yeah,
and I feel like the music is. I don't want to say similar. I think the music here is better.
it's.
But it's
I mean,
a
similar style of singing,
You're
like
getting some
songwriting,
classic stuff for sure.
Yeah.
where it's not really like verse chorus. It's like dialogue,
Yeah.
verse,
it
verse,
probably-
verse,
You have
chorus,
some
It
actors
verse.
probably
that
made
aren't
more
that good.
sense too, just because like if it's similar to Sweeney Todd is very bright and whimsical music,
Yeah,
but not a
Yeah,
bright and
it's
whimsical
more, it's
setting.
more music to tell the story than actual like music to be like a hit
The
in a
actual music,
musical.
yeah, for sure.
But I mean, like, you have some tunes from some people who obviously are better actors than singers, and like you're basically using a song as dialogue, and it
Yeah.
kind of works. You got Michelle Yeoh doing her best. I mean, like.
sounding a bit more auto-tuned than a lot of the others.
I mean, she doesn't speak English very well, so her trying to sing English, I don't even know if she can sing. Her trying to sing English is obviously a little bit of a struggle, but
Yeah.
like they just make it like dialogue, and it kind of works.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Just kind of talking to a tune.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like with Sweeney Todd, like I don't ever mind that. My only problem with Sweeney Todd was like the tone didn't match the setting. And so I feel like this one, the tone matches the setting. It is bright. It's a bright setting, so a
Very, very bright.
bright tone makes fucking sense.
So I went for my wife because I knew that she would enjoy seeing it because she loves that content. What really kind of grabbed me that I didn't expect was the idea of. So I had no backstory on the story. I've seen The Wizard of Oz. That's
Yeah.
the extent of my knowledge on the subject. So the movie is called Wicked, and when you think wicked, you think evil. You think like diabolical, you know. And
Yeah.
like the main character is the the fucking Wicked Witch of the West, basically. In her
Literally, yeah.
in her early years
Yeah.
before she's actually the Wicked Witch of the West. And I love these types of movies where it's like a role reversal. And like basically the Wicked in this movie is the society that makes her what she is.
Yeah.
You know, and I love those
No, that's a
types of
great
role-
story. Yeah, that's cool.
those
Yeah.
types of role reversal type of deals because she's honestly the most authentic character in the film by
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
Like you give a fuck about it. Everyone else just seems like driving this world into the ground
Yeah.
bullshit.
Just going along with
Yeah.
what's everyone else is doing.
She is
And
the most authentic, like endearing character in the film by a lot. And it's literally society and really like the govern
racism.
the governance of this
Always back
this
to
little
racism.
society that has made her what she what she
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
and to me that's what is the really interesting part of the whole deal.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a great premise. I mean, that's a premise that I can get behind and love
Yeah.
for sure because that's usually what makes. I mean, talking about fucking Joker, like
Yeah.
that's usually what makes these villains
Yeah.
what they are is the,
And the difference
environment
between,
they exist within.
like thinking about Sweeney Todd in this film, and that was the difference for me is her performance. Like
Yeah.
I actually cared about her as a character. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like fuck, man. She's the only one that gives a shit. You know, like
Yeah.
everyone else just like kind of fucking like blah 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 blah, like living their daily lives. It's
Yeah.
just like, this is
Very
like the wor-
shallow
this-
wants.
This is the world
Yeah.
we live in now.
Yeah.
and she's me. You know,
Yeah.
like that's how I saw it. You
Yeah.
know, really big fan of the film.
I
check it out.
I really liked both. Okay, so the leads, the witch, the Green Witch, was played by Cynthia Erivo, and
she did a series on, I think it was on It might have been on Netflix called The Outsider.
Oh yeah, HBO. That was HBO.
HBO. If you haven't seen this, it's kind of a mini series. I think it's like one season or something.
Yeah,
maybe
I think it's like
2.
6 episodes.
Yeah, it's very short.
Based on a Stephen King book.
Very, very fucking good. She plays a very different character, and I haven't seen her in anything.
Have you seen Bad Times at the El Royale?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, she's in that. She's really good in that.
I really want to watch that,
and that's why I wasn't. I think people for some reason were mixed on her as the witch leading up to it because I think
she's
people always get nervous about actors singing, but like we've literally seen her be a professional singer in other movies.
She's been good in all of them.
Well, I mean, most of the time too, like to be a fucking legitimate professional actor, like a default like fucking acceptable level of competency there is probably like it's always there.
John, highly recommend for you The Outsider.
Yeah,
right up your alley. It's
good cast,
very good cast. Totally in that like kind of horror type of genre that you like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a horror sci-fi like twisted drama.
Wait, it is a Stephen King book, right? Because now I'm thinking about it, it's like it doesn't actually feel.
I don't know.
Some of the story beats, I'm like, that doesn't feel like very Stephen.
Outsiders. I don't know.
It's called
The Outsider.
The Outsider.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like
2020.
The Stephen King book might be The Outsiders.
Yeah, I don't think it is actually the Stephen King book. I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't remember the name of the book. I thought I rememred this miniseries being based on Stephen King, but now I'm doubting myself, so I don't know.
It could
there's
be,
something with there's something outside.
Because I know The Outsiders, but that's
we did like a regulator.
Not.
Anyway,
Anywho,
so Wicked, it gets a thumbs up for me.
Yeah,
honestly,
I'll have to check it out.
Look, I think the music, kind of the same I said about Sweeney Todd. I think the music, like, there was no song that was like, oh, I was humming that on the way home. Like, there was no song that did that.
I mean,
which is, you kind of want that.
That being said, if anybody is familiar with on average or on general musicals, they know like 4 or 5 of the songs. Some of these are like some of the most famous Broadway songs.
I will say there was this old broad that was seated like four seats to my right.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I thought they were going to have to get a ventilator. Like, she laughed about everything.
I thought you were going to say she was singing along.
No, she probably lost like 17 pounds during like the watching this film. It was just like, somebody would say one line and be like, "Oh, hello," and she'd be like, "Ah!"
Oh, my God.
This lady, she's losing so much weight over here. Like, you burn calories when you laugh. Like, she's killing it.
I liked Cynthia Erivo's performance, but I thought Ariana Grande's performance was like fucking hilarious. I thought she was like played it so genuine.
You really liked the performance.
Like, no, I'm familiar with, like, I've seen her in interviews and stuff. I know she's not like that. The way she's playing it, like, cartoonishly bubblish, like, you know, it's, I know it's true to the original.
You know what I'm about to say about her performance?
You hated it?
It was the most Barbie fucking thing about the movie. Like, it's like, of course you liked her performance because it was very fucking Barbie to me.
I just know it's true to the original character, and I thought it was really funny. I thought she was easily the fun, like, kind of stole the show.
Said, I wouldn't recast her because I think it was necessary for her character, but like I got super Barbie vibes every time she came on screen.
If it's true to the original character, then that's good, and then that's solid for sure.
But that was kind of my one gripe about it, was that I thought Cynthia Erivo was playing it like a little too genuine, like this is real world, this is real happening.
Right.
And then you have Ariana Grande like in a cartoon. And it was a little mismatched, I thought.
I think that was intentional though.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess it depends on who's consuming the art and what they want out of it. I mean,
because literally she's the only one that sees the big picture in any of this. I mean, everyone else is thinking about piddly shit.
But honestly, just some like pretty great filmmaking going. Like the visuals,
the set design is awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'll make a point to watch it.
I would say if you enjoy fantasy and you can enjoy musicals, because I know some people just flat out will never enjoy musicals.
I can have
shout out because I know it's not going to happen enough, but because it's such a small role. But Jeff Goldblum is the wizard.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum fucking kills it.
Jeff Goldblum is fucking.
You guys also just watched Chaos, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say he's like in his villain era. Like he is playing back to back two like great villains.
Jeff Goldblum is fucking fantastic, man. I enjoy the shit out of that dude. He's great.
Yeah.
I love seeing him do some shit like this in his later career. It's fun. It's super fun.
Yeah.
He's in the prime time for it. I mean, he's the right age to play the wizard. You know, he's the right age to play Zeus. It's perfect timing.
I thought like him in Wicked is like the least Jeff Goldblum performance. Did we end it?
No, we didn't end it.
It's like the least Jeff Goldblum role he's done in quite a while. I feel like because even in Chaos, I love him, but it's like still Jeff Goldblum, you know.
Yeah. No, his mannerisms and shit are very much
the
same, pretty classic shit. Yeah. Now I'm absolutely down for musicals. I grew up. My sister and mom watched these shit. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had to watch. I mean, I didn't have to watch. I could have left, but I did watch Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
And like they were all about that. So I'm perfectly fine with musicals. And it just has to make sense for the content, you know.
Yeah.
So like this sounds much more like it would make much more sense to me than like Sweeney Todd, where like the thing didn't mesh together.
Like you said, like makes sense for the content. It doesn't matter how good the music is. If it doesn't make sense for the content, it doesn't grab you.
Yeah, no, it's just like this is a bright thing, so bright music makes sense. So
it's also a prequel to Wizard of Oz, which is a musical. So
yeah, exactly. Like no, I'm perfectly down for musicals. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it for you, Mr. Holler?
No, I haven't even gone yet. I was just kind of roping Reese into this.
Oh, yeah. We'll continue.
What else do you got?
You brought up Wicked.
Oh, I brought up Wicked because I knew it was on your list.
Well, continue with your list.
As I brought up Blood Simple because I knew it was on John's list.
Well, look at you, Mr. Selfless. So I should go then?
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Okay. Here's a interesting one. I don't know how much it'll be up your alley, but I think it is very much influenced by American movie in a very good way. But it's like a mockumentary, just I wouldn't say it's scripted. I would assume the majority of it is improv, but it's on YouTube. It's called Rap World. It's an hour long. Has one of my favorite like working comedian actors, Connor O'Malley, who you guys might have seen in a sketch here or there, but he's not like a huge name. But it's just an hour long, free on YouTube. I thought it was like fucking hilarious. And totally worth an hour of your time.
What's the premise here? You say Rap World.
Okay, so like literally, it's imagine American movie, right? It's a guy. These three guys are setting out on this night to make like their breakout rap album,
right?
And record it, and they just keep getting distracted, and so it like goes the entire night. They don't end up writing any songs, and then other things go off the rails. It's set in 2009, and it like nails the vibe. I just thought it was really funny. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Rap World.
I'm gonna check that out.
I watched another Godzilla movie. Got to continue on. Then this one is 1995 Godzilla versus Destroya. And honestly, this is probably like top 5 Godzilla movies for me. I thought it was like fucking baller. And just Godzilla's like literally on fire the entire movie. Yeah. There's a ton of monsters. There's all different kinds of the main villain Destroya like is evolving throughout the whole movie.
And this is Japanese, right?
This is a Japanese one. And the effects and stuff just really go all out in this one. I nice. mean, they did a really, really great job.
Yeah, I'm way behind on a lot of the Godzilla stuff, man. There's so much content.
Oh, I know. I'm literally just jumping around to whichever one I want to watch next. Because really, you don't need any context.
No, it's Godzilla fighting a monster. Yeah. Like that's all you need in the world of Godzilla.
I really liked it though. Highly recommend. I watched Tommy. The musical, another musical.
Yeah, all kinds of musical.
Are you guys familiar with this one?
No,
this is
the Who, right?
Yeah, the Who. Yeah. This is the album
shit.
that damn that deaf, dumb and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. I really I had that song. That's about all I knew about the movie. So I thought it was literally just about a blind kid that played pinball. But have you seen it, Dustin?
It's been.
I feel like I
saw
have
with my family. Like
Yeah.
when I was a
Yeah,
child.
no,
I
I
don't
feel the
really
same
remember.
thing. Like
Yeah.
it's in here somewhere, but
It is way more similar to Pink Floyd's The Wall than I ever would have guessed. It's like
See,
all
I saw
about-
the time when if I would have saw Pink Floyd The Wall at that time, I wouldn't have been able to appreciate it.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's.
no,
I
you
thought it
watch
was great. I mean, it's really weird and stuff. It's the Who. It's odd music because it's not exactly a rock album, but it's not exactly a musical either. But it's like totally centered around like religion and the government using religion to control people and keep them
That
deaf,
sounds
dumb,
like
and
The Wall.
blind. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I loved it. This is from the director of The Devils that we watched earlier this year, Ken Russell, and so it has definitely that same kind of chaotic energy and just kind of insanity. Has the same lead as the Devils too, Oliver Reed. Very handsome, great guy. I really like him. Oh, what's next? Oh, I finally watched the last two movies I needed to complete John Carpenter's filmography. I watched Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh man, I need to watch that.
The original, obviously, not the remake with Ethan.
I think you brought that up last time.
No, I brought it up when we were getting together to watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
movie.
mean we've talked about it
Yeah.
like 4 times by now on the
Yeah,
podcast. Actually,
It was really fun. Definitely, he's always been the same as
Yeah.
far as how he writes his movie stuff. Kind of I say that, but like The Thing and those movies aren't exactly the same. But his super macho main character that just everyone's like, wow, there goes him. We all know who he is.
that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very fun. And then the last one I watched of perhaps ever a John Carpenter movie I have not seen, Escape from L.A.
Oh, dude.
And it holds up to what you guys say.
Yeah.
I don't think it's his worst movie, but it is bad.
It's fucking bad.
It
so
felt
bad.
like
It's pretty bad.
it felt like he made a deal with
Is
like
it Vampires bad?
PlayStation that he could only use PlayStation graphics
Yeah.
for the special
Dude,
effects.
this-
They're
so,
so
like,
terrible.
when he gets into the city
Yeah.
and like he
The
does the
surfing
thing.
scene.
Well, not do the survey.
No, the submarine, right?
Yeah,
That's what
he
you're
gets
talking about.
He gets in with the submarine, and like he lands, and then he gets out of the submarine, and it's like CGI for the submarine. Like you didn't need
Yes.
to fucking bad CGI that submarine.
Yeah,
like
the
it could have
top-
just been a submarine you could have made for $20.
Yeah,
Like,
the top like slides back,
Yeah,
and
dude.
he's like kneeling underneath, and it's so obvious he's just kneeling
yeah,
on a green
dude,
screen.
It's so fucking
like,
bad.
It looks
No,
terrible.
the surfing scene is fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's
There's
frustrating.
a lot bad about that movie.
It's so
nothing
frustrating
really
to
goes right.
me because I watched Escape from New York, which is not one of his better movies by any means. It's fine. It's solid. It's John
Yeah.
Carpenter, but like watching them back to back makes Escape from LA so much worse because it's exactly the same fucking movie,
Yeah.
but just like really bad.
Yeah.
Like you just made a really bad version of a thing you already did for like what? Why?
I
Why?
honestly,
how much did you get paid? I don't
especially
understand.
with like the characters and their names, and they each have like a shtick.
No.
I was like, did John Carpenter just want to direct a G.I. Joe movie?
Well, all the
Like, he
Dude,
just
the-
smashes action
the
figures
thing
together.
that is frustrating, all the fucking the shticks are all the same. Like
Yeah.
all the characters are the same as Escape from New York. Like the cabbie guy is exactly the same as
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi. And
Is Steve Buscemi in the first one?
no,
Okay, because
No,
I
no.
I did not know he was going to be in it, and I liked him.
but his character is exactly the
yeah.
same as a character.
Yeah.
Just another guy in New York instead of LA, and like how thematic the movie is. Like, oh, he's got to surf and play basketball and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
Like Jesus
the
Christ.
shit where he like kept like getting ready to double cross the government, like
Yeah.
the president stuff, and then they'd go, "Oh, you think we're that stupid, Snake? We're holograms."
Yeah.
And then he does another thing. He's like, "Ha! You think we're that stupid? It's like they did it like 5 or 6 times in the movie. Like Jesus
the only thing
Christ.
I'll give Escape from L.A. is the ending. Like what he does is like it's satisfying.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh yes. Actually, I agree.
No, like the
Like,
ending.
fuck it.
The ending is satisfying.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie is like painful garbage. At least you got it off your list.
Yep. Finished with John Carpenter.
It's confirmed.
All I have left really is he did that mini series about Elvis, also starring what's his name, Kurt Russell, but that's like a 4-hour long mini series. But that's the only thing of John Carpenter's I have left to watch.
Is Kurt Russell playing Elvis?
Yeah, he plays Elvis,
Huh.
which I feel like isn't the first time.
See, that's not far fetched at all.
No, I kind of want to watch that now.
He has sideburns in most of his movies anyway. I feel
Yeah.
like he's halfway there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd
Got
watch
the voice
Kurt.
for it.
I'd watch Kurt Russell play Elvis. Like that's good.
Elvis, 1979. But I think didn't Kurt Russell play Elvis in another movie?
No, the one with I was thinking with Kevin Costner, where like it's like 3,000 miles to Graceland.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, and they're Elvis impersonators.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Elvis impersonators. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Isn't
but,
Elvis just an impersonation
Huh.
of the American
Working on
dream?
Blockbuster makes you really good at movie trivia.
Another thing I watched, kind of an odd or random pick, but a while ago, this movie was on sale for $5 on Vudu, and I read a few reviews of it, and it sounded really interesting and right up my alley, and I didn't want to miss it. This is a Chinese movie called The Wandering Earth 2, and my original hesitancy to buying it was that I couldn't find The Wandering Earth 1 anywhere on Vudu. And apparently it turns out, as it turns out after I watched the movie, this is a prequel to The Wandering Earth. So you don't actually, it also stands completely on its own.
Of course.
And you don't need to have seen The Wandering Earth at all.
Can I see an image for this?
Yeah.
I feel like,
And so, okay, this movie is insane.
yeah, I
like,
feel like I
literally-
looked at that at some point.
I highly recommend it. I thought it was like awesome. It's 3 hours long. It's
yeah, I want to watch
like
that.
if you wrapped up, let's say The Martian, The Day After Tomorrow,
I love that one.
and
My childhood.
another like space epic, let's say Interstellar. I don't know. You could literally like the scale of this Independence Day. That's what I'm looking for. The scale of this movie is like literally.
I just realized The Day After Tomorrow is not what I was thinking. Don't love that. I just wanted to be clear that I was thinking The Day After.
Day After Tomorrow.
Which it was like a
The Day After.
like a TV mini series about like a potential nuclear attack.
I think I've seen that.
It's like a nuclear fallout type of thing.
Yeah.
It's got like Jason Robards in it, and anyway, very very good production. There too.
So anyway, the plot of this movie is the sun is like getting ready to expand. And they're able to see, like with predictions and measurements and stuff, that the Earth will be destroyed in roughly like 300 years. And so they've got a 300-year timeline to save the Earth. And what I really liked is that at no point until like maybe the last 40 minutes of the movie are they working on a single plan. They are like literally trying like everything. They're trying to find another planet that they can move to. They're trying to make an arc of all, DNA and samples. They are trying to put up a shield to like protect from the sun. They are trying to find a way to put giant engines on the Earth and turn the Earth into a spaceship. So they're not adhering completely to realism. Necessarily.
Well,
but this is the prequel. This is the prequel.
Yeah. So it's insane. Like you really have to pay attention to this movie because the character, it's not really character driven. There's like 2 characters that you stay with because the movie takes place over about 50 years.
Yeah.
So it's not as much character driven. You're just like, they are just pumping information at you about like this happens now. 5 days later, this happens now. 2 days later, you know,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
you have to pay attention, and like you watch all these different plans fail, and then they keep winnowing down and trying something new and going a
Right.
different direction, and it's the entire like Earth working
Right.
together on this,
Yeah.
and really loved it. And
No,
yeah,
that's
so
cool. Yeah.
I was actually really excited because all I had heard is that you didn't have to watch the first one to watch this one. And then I watched it, really liked it, and I looked up what the first one is, and it's like, oh, it's what happens next. It's the prequel. It's the sequel basically
Yeah.
to this movie. And I got super excited because I'm very interested in the world, and I know they're working on a third one, which is supposed to come out in 2026, I believe. But yeah, highly recommend it. I think
So,
both movies are on Netflix.
Is the resolution, judging by the title, them hooking rockets to the Earth in it?
They basically like they get like, imagine like volcano sized engines, and they have them like scattered over all of the Earth. Like
Yeah.
they've got like
So
1,000
they can adjust and move
of them.
around.
And like it's pretty goofy, right? Because that wouldn't work at all. They literally have to stop the rotation of the Earth and then start the motor. So it's like you do have to suspend a lot of disbelief.
Like,
but
I'm not a fucking physicist,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that would actually check out or not. You know, like,
Yeah.
The fact that they wrote it and put it in the movie.
yeah, it's fine.
Oh
It's-
yeah, there are visuals in this movie you have seen in
I'm
nothing.
sold, dude.
Like-
I'm sold. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no, it
watch
sounds
one
cool.
later.
Yeah,
It seems like
I
a Friday thing.
yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I had to break it up into 2 sittings because I started it a little late at night, but I highly recommend it. 3 hours, if you can get it in one viewing, might honestly be a little exhausting, but it's a great watch. Let's see, let's narrow it down a bit.
I've got 3 that haven't been covered. So
Okay. I finally got to watch David Lynch's Dune. I wanted
It's good. It's
it's for what it is and what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
so there are moments. I just watched it a couple years ago, and there are moments where it's just like David fucking Lynch,
Yeah.
right? Like there are just scenes
Yeah.
that just happen and just don't make that much sense, or just so abruptly like
Yeah.
ajar from the rest of the film. It's like, oh yeah, that's some David
It's-
Lynch right there.
I really am happy I watched this after I watched the new Dune
Yeah.
movies. It's so funny how like there's moments that probably 20 minutes of the Denis Villeneuve Dune
Right.
is winnowed down to like a sentence.
Yes.
where
Yeah.
the Paul is like, oh no, now we're in danger because the Harkonnens are going to try and kill us because now we control Dune. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure.
They really just decided to convey about 90% of the story through like thought bubbles.
Yeah, I mean, 90-minute movie or so.
Yeah.
So
But I wanted to watch it this year because it was celebrating the
Yeah.
40th anniversary, and I watched my Arrow Video 4K Blu-ray.
yeah. No, it's weird and it's fucking goofy. The Harkonnen
Yeah.
is so gross.
He's very gross.
Fuck, he's
yeah.
so much more gross
Not
than
as
the other one.
not as scary as the new one, but a lot more
Not
gross.
as scary, no, but
Yeah.
like double the grossness.
The
for
Harkonnens on a whole in this one is just, well, they're ugly and redheads.
sure. Yeah,
That's it.
and just weird too.
And just
like-
weird.
And
Yeah.
this one did like really like that one really drove home the whole like fucking creeping on his nephew
Yeah.
thing, like there's a lot of that, like him just looking at a half naked Sting like licking his lips
Tasty.
and shit, like, ugh. But
I watched the first Smile. I wouldn't call it disappointing, but it definitely kind of met my expectations and isn't nearly as good as Smile 2, obviously. But honestly, the effects in it are really good.
yeah.
They had the budget for effects to begin with, and they do some pretty cool shit. I rewatched the 1922 documentary Haxan, which is
Okay.
about witchcrafts and demon worship.
Huh.
Really, really interesting movie. Obviously,
Is it
is it more informative or is this like
Yeah,
a
is it-
smear campaign?
is it
like
like
this?
tilted? Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
it is informative, and definitely, I mean, it ends with kind of a message of like, hey, isn't it interesting? The people that we used to call witches, now we just say they're hysterical. Like
right.
and now they're just sleazy
it's not
women
like-
or whatever.
Like Reefer Madness.
Yeah, it's not like
No, it's not.
complete
It's not
propaganda.
that because
Kill
it
your
is.
kids.
Yeah,
It is talking about like old world witchcraft, not like
yeah.
the witches among us.
Right.
Obviously, there is still some amount of like
Yeah.
fear mongering, but I think for the most part, it is going for information, and it's just a really, really well made movie with some really cool effects, and there are
Right.
like demons and stuff in it. Really enjoyed it. I've seen it before.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting to watch. Yeah.
Probably on Criterion. And then I watched, speaking of Oscar Isaac, I watched a movie he was in a couple years ago called The Card Counter. This is from director Paul Schrader. And I don't know. I need to think about it. I want to read some. It was a bit odd. Oscar Isaac was great, as usual. Tiffany Haddish is in it, which was a really weird choice. I don't know if she really fit.
It's like, is it a comedic role or?
No. But she also has like some weird dialogue. So it's like, is her character stilted because that's how she's written?
Right.
Or does Tiffany Haddish not know how to act, straight? I don't know. Willem Dafoe is in it, of course, because he's in everything. Like, the more I think about it, how does this man... He's in like 5 or 6 movies this year. Where does he get the time?
Is a shoe-in for like 20 years from now getting like the Oscar for like lifetime achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. It's kind of ridiculous.
Totally like on a track for lifetime achievement.
Yeah. Insane. Looks like this year he's got Kinds of Kindness, Beetlejuice, Nosferatu.
Yeah, he just works himself into everything.
Saturday Night.
He's in the Nosferatu movie?
I have
Yeah.
convinced the wife we're going
That's
to
great.
2 movies on Christmas Day.
Oh, hell yes.
We're gonna
have entered Nosferatu month, boys.
We're
I
going to
know.
watch Nosferatu and Complete Unknown on.
Is that Christmas Day too?
Day, yeah. There's like another. They're like Craven the Hunter. I've been seeing trailers for this film for like fucking 2 years, man.
Yeah.
It's finally coming out. I don't give a fuck.
No,
Fuck that movie.
I wish it had already come out.
I know.
Yeah.
Is it really going up against those 2 movies?
It's coming out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
That's really stupid.
I think there's a 4th one. I think there are 4 movies that are premiering on Christmas Day this year.
God, Marvel, you're so...
Yeah, that's
It's
stupid.
just so sad.
Do you have anything else, Reese? Because I have like 3 that I'm going to breeze through.
No, that's good for me.
All right, I watched Despicable Me 4, which was despicable. Was it
Yeah.
as despicable as the previous 3? I would say it's a tie.
The first one is actually like...
It's
It's
like,
fine. For a family
Right.
flick, like the
so
first one's
I've
fine.
seen them all, and like I'm watching this, and it's just like he's got like a wife and like 5 kids, and I'm
Yeah.
like, when did he get the wife and 5 kids? And she's like, it was in the last movie. I'm like, yeah, okay, I saw that.
Well, he got the kids the first movie, then you got the wife the second movie.
Okay,
Yeah,
All
like
right,
it's
yeah.
just like the first one is the only one that's like endearing and like it's not bad for what it is.
I've never been interested in the franchise, and I hate the Minions.
No, like
my
it
wife
was-
likes the Minions.
it
That's
was a
like, she's in it
one
for
shot
the
deal.
Minions.
Like it
Yeah.
was okay for the one film. It
Yeah.
worked for the one family
They're
film. it
going off
was.
their stick. By the way, my watches were inside Llewyn Davis Miller's Crossing, the Batman and Wicked, which I was able to intertwine with your guys' shit.
Yeah, good job.
Until Reese called me out on it. And then I watched Kramer versus Kramer,
Oh.
Oscar winner. I want to say 78.
I think
Uh,
early 80s, but
I don't know the year exactly, but it's Dustin Hoffman and the greatest actress of all time, and like kind of this little divorce,
79.
79. Okay, I was off by a year. Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman in this kind of divorce drama with a child involved, and it's kind of like Dustin Hoffman was like the dad who was very successful businessman, he worked so much that he wasn't really around, and that's probably part of the reason that his wife fell out of love with him, left him, and it's like, basically, I'm a terrible mother, you take the kid. Like,
Well, that's a terrible idea.
she just
Because
like,
he's obviously not suited
Yeah, no,
for that either.
she just basically like is like, fuck off, I'm out. And like, so he all of a sudden becomes worse at his job because he's now taking care of a kid full time, but he becomes a really good father, but he becomes worse at his job. And like he's found this new balance in his life, and then all of a sudden she's been in therapy and comes back into town and is like, I want my kid now, because I've been doing therapy and realized that, you know, like I could be a good mother, and I wanted to, and so like, so then it becomes this like legal battle, which is why it's called Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It was very good performances from both actors, which you would expect from both.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, if like you're, you know, if you've ever went through divorce or something, you can kind of see it. Like some of the stuff in the courtroom was a little, to me, it's hard to relate to being from Indiana just because of the way we do divorce in this state compared to other states, because there's no fault in Indiana, so like you don't get points because like she fucked around, like you don't get points for that in Indiana. It doesn't matter. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
She gets half, you get half. You know,
it's always going to be more complicated with kids too.
Yeah. Once you get kids involved, and that to me was the message of the movie. It was just like this dude actually changed his life, and there's actually a scene where like the housekeeper or whatever like has a thing in the courthouse, like outside the courthouse. Meryl Streep is like you're only going on your memories. Like she's like, I see them together every day. Back the fuck off. Like this kid will never be happier than he is right now. This dude is like turned his life around, becoming this phenomenal father, and you are fucking things up.
Right.
And it's just a really cool scene. I like the performances. I like both actors a lot. Have a lot of respect for them. Highly recommend any Best Picture Oscar winner. I think everybody should see.
It's interesting. I feel like this movie, it might get nominated because I feel like a similar story would be A Marriage Story.
Yeah.
But it's very different.
Yelling though. There's so many movies. It's just a bunch of.
There are good performances though in that movie. Like,
there's great performances.
It was solid.
But I was just gonna say, I don't feel like this movie would ever win Best Picture these days. You know what I mean? It's not like based on anything. It's not a true story.
It's very performance driven.
Yeah.
I think that Meryl Streep, and if you don't cast Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman, this movie is not getting nominated for shit.
No, and at the end of the day, like I agree to it. We're in a very sticky place in art in the modern age. Like it's like you got to be checking some boxes, you know, to really get people to pay any kind of attention nowadays, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not against like the big. I kind of love it when a blockbuster movie, like a big sells out theaters movie, wins Best Picture if it's a good one. You know, I think that's cool. Like, you know, Everything Everywhere did, you know, was kind of a blockbuster in some ways.
Oh yeah.
But like sometimes, like if Oppenheimer wasn't 4 hours long and it didn't cost, you know, $500 million, you know, it didn't make all these headlines, would it have won Best Picture? You know, like that's just like
I feel like you just made a way worse movie.
I mean, you know, it's like so flashy, and I feel like people just see all the flash and they go, well, it's, you know, it's making me pay attention, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, people are kind of raccoon monkeys now. So,
have you ever seen the movie Bowfinger? Eddie Murphy playing a movie star who's basically an iteration of himself, and he's talking to his agent, and he's like, "I want an Oscar. Give me an Oscar role. Give me the role playing a retarded slave."
Oh, that wouldn't fly nowadays.
But you know what? That's what wins.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, the world, and I, as a tattoo artist, like for me, like I see it all the time. Like the world exists in sticks now, like shticks. Like you have to have something to sell. You gotta have a box that you checked. You gotta have a gimmick. Like everything is gimmick. You know, it's where we're at. So.
Yeah.
Last one I want to mention, which I recommend Kramer vs. Kramer, any Best Picture Oscar winner. This one is more of an independent film with kind of revered independent film. It's by David Mackenzie, Hell or High Water, starring Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, Ben Foster. Really loving this genre. It
fits right in with Cohen.
It is very Cohen.
Even the guy Jeff Bridges.
By Cohen, it is like it's like a modern day Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like a couple of Texas Rangers chasing bank robbers. Who these bank robbers are basically robbing specific banks because they had like a sick mother who was in like hospice, and like the banks basically bet against the property. The banks basically tried to fuck them over to take their property, and so they started robbing specific banks just to hurt that specific bank chain. And so it's like kind of like they got some like Robin Hood like goodness behind them. They're not stealing for profit, they're stealing to hurt somebody else.
Stealing for principle.
And Jeff Bridges plays the Texas Ranger who doesn't he's just doing his job and he just doesn't care, and it's just a really well acted, really well shot, just a really fun movie. I love these modern day Westerns, and it does play like a Western, even though it's like has high speed chases and but it's like it's got bank shootouts, and some of the robbery scenes are hilarious because it's like there's like 80-year-old man. It's like they come in with the mask, and there's like this old man just talking shit to him the whole time. You motherfuckers! I don't know. He's like, you have a gun on you, old man? Hey, it's fucking tech. Of course I got a gun. They take from me. Oh, are you gonna steal my gun now too? You motherfuckers.
Shit.
Yeah, just classic shit, man. It really gave me like like you said, Coen Brothers. I got a little bit of like the first half of From Dusk Till Dawn. That kind of like classic, like modern Western feel to it. Really fun film.
All right.
Okay.
So the other thing we've been watching is a little 4-hour and 11-minute movie
Just
that
a
is
little
our
one.
feature.
Just a little
Just
one.
tiny.
I'd like to point out, John Brown, I think, fell asleep like 4 hours and 9 minutes into the 4 hours.
I did. I missed the very ass end, but I got all the fun stuff out of the way.
God damn it!
Did you go back?
You couldn't make it 2 minutes.
No, I really wanted to, but I couldn't quite squeak it out with Thanksgiving and stuff. But I really did want to like get a recap on the end. But I did get the girth of the movie.
We didn't actually watch 4 hours and 11 minutes because we had a glitch with Vudu. Yeah. Not liking John's internet. And so for whatever reason, we weren't able to watch the extended version. And so we watched the, what was it, 26-minute shorter?
I think it's like 44. I think it's like 36, 40 minutes, something like that, shorter, isn't it?
Is it? I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was less than a half hour. But it was close to a half hour. Anyway.
Yeah. Roughly half hour.
Anyway, you chop off 30 minutes and you're watching the theatrical version, which is not how the director intended, but it's
26. Is it 26 minutes?
26 minutes longer?
I want to say the theatrical is short of 30. 3 hours and 49 minutes, and then the director's cut is 4 hours and 11 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, so you're adding 22 minutes?
Something like that.
You're adding less than a half hour.
Yeah.
But that's a lot. When you think about like additional footage, that's a lot.
Yeah, honestly, because a lot of director's cuts will be like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, outside of the Lord of the Rings, which those
that's like an hour longer.
Yeah, that's the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Is watch those extended versions of the Lord of the Rings.
I disagree. I love the extended.
How much more is the extended version of Lord of the Rings?
Of Lord of the Rings, they're each different, but I think Return of the King is like a full hour longer.
Okay, so there's at least an hour in one movie.
Yeah, and I think it's like 35 minutes the first movie and like 45 minutes the second movie. It's a lot.
It's like I could watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy theatrical version and like have a good time, but like watching the extended versions like on a Sunday, it's just like I just watched all three movies. I could not tell you one thing that was different other than I'm bored as fuck.
So this is my fucking the same gripe I've had with this the entire time since this film was made.
Do not even go on a tangent about
God damn it, I won't. All right, but just
we've done
fuck you, Peter Jackson.
You
motherfucker.
I disagree. I think
Lord of the Rings take.
I think the Lord of the Rings extended trilogy is like perfect cinema. So what I did last time I watched them, I took, because each extended edition is split in half. They're split in half. So I watched half of one extended movie a night for like a week and a half.
Why didn't
Maybe
we?
that's a better way to go.
If there's
Maybe
2
that's a better way to
hours
go.
of filmmaking in the extended versions, why didn't we get the actual ending to the fucking book?
I don't know. Who
Fuck you,
cares?
Peter Jackson.
I like the
This-
movies.
Tangent over.
If I wanted to know how the book is, I'd read the book.
I had to. You kept going.
Okay, here's the plot summary of Once Upon a Time in America, 1984, celebrating its 40th anniversary, directed by Sergei Leone. A former Prohibition-era Jewish gangster returns to the Lower East Side of Manhattan over 30 years later, where he once again must confront the ghost and regrets of his old life.
His name is Noodles.
Noodles.
Nudes.
And the tagline is crime, passion, and lust for power. Pretty
Yeah,
generic.
there's lots of that.
There's lust for something.
Yeah. But not for other things, though.
I think it's vagina.
So how it turned out, I
But
think
the presentation of the
did we
vagina.
just give up on the internet completely and go straight to the Blu-ray, or did we also try the regular version on
I
Vudu
think-
and that didn't work?
I think we tried
We did
both.
not try the regular
No?
version on Vudu.
Okay.
But, like, we fucked with the Vudu version. You're like, fuck it, I've got the Blu-ray at home,
Yeah.
and we assumed you were coming back with the extended edition Blu-ray, but apparently that doesn't exist, or you didn't have.
No,
it.
it exists. I just forgot. I only have the theatrical
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
So we thought you were coming back with the version. So big apologies to Reese here, because we really did want to watch the extended version, but
we tried.
We could not get it to work.
Fucking tried.
Yeah.
It kept saying that John's Wi-Fi was an issue, which
Yeah.
has never been an issue before,
No.
and wasn't
No.
an issue for any. Like, literally, we tried to play other movies and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
Yeah.
I think it couldn't take it. 4 hours and 11
I think it was
that's a
trying
lot of-
to buffer 4 hours at
Yeah,
once, and it was like,
just
no!
it could not
Yeah.
do it.
But I will say, so we watched it. I liked it. I don't know what you guys think about
No,
it.
yeah, it was a good film for sure.
I went home. I think either that night or the day after. I did put on the extended version, and I just fast forwarded to where the new scenes
Right.
were, because as it turns out, the extended scenes were basically like not preserved properly. So these were restored from like a secondhand, like
right.
very low quality film, and
Shit
so
they found in the basement of somebody's
Yeah.
house, you know.
it's cool. It's very cool that they exist, and I'm very glad they do.
I watched a Kurosawa movie that was similar, where
Yeah.
and this wasn't even additional footage. It was just like the movie was just like
yeah.
doesn't really exist anymore, and so they like had to like try to piece it back together. And
Yeah.
it was pretty rough.
It's like if you're watching the movie on 1080, it drops down to like 480 for these scenes, kind of, and you know they're darker.
That's rough.
You know, so and then I watched the scenes because I wanted to see what we'd missed, and like they do cut out like entire plot lines, and
Yeah.
I actually ended up being really happy of like almost every single cut that was made. I think all of the scenes. The movie was-
all the scenes that they cut. The movie was better.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Sergio Leone, his vision was shit.
well, I think
Or
he just had
just actually like his vision. I mean, it's still his vision at the end of the day. Just like,
Yeah.
he was, confident enough to be like, nah, yeah, probably not.
I think honestly
Let's get that
because
shit outta here.
what he wanted to do was like a 6-hour version,
Yeah.
and it was like going to be a mini series or
Because
something.
they said that this extended edition was supposed to be more along the lines of what he wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
So the studio got their
Yeah.
way, and it might have been for the better.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he really it's I think we've seen countless times directors that don't get told no, and then it hurts their movies. You
Yeah.
know, we get Tim Burton's and whatnots. You
Yeah.
know,
So there's one main takeaway that I want to talk about with this film, and that's Robert De Niro plays the Noodles character. He's the main character.
Yeah.
And he's I think we can all agree is very rapey.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
the rapiest I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Robert De
he's a
Niro.
pretty, he's a pretty rapey character.
Well, I don't know. Have you guys seen him in Island? Is Island? No.
We're talking about another rapey movie.
No, the Martin Scorsese movie where he plays a convict, and he's rapey in the movie because he's going after the main character's daughter.
Cape Fear. It's
Yes,
a
Cape
remake.
Fear.
Yeah.
The daughter's like 16, and he is like literally threatening the main character, like, I'm gonna rape your daughter.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a remake.
Well, I mean, did he rape her?
I don't remember.
Because he raped.
He does. Yeah, he does.
It's worth a watch, Tom Brown. It's worth a watch. Find
Yeah, it's an odd Scorsese.
It's basically like that film. Not to segue too much, but basically, this dude did time, like serious time in prison, and Nick Nolte is the other lead, and his family is,
right.
It's his family, but this dude was his defending attorney, and basically this dude went away for like decades or whatever,
right.
And like he blamed this guy for not being a competent enough attorney for him being, and so he like terrorizes his family once he gets out, and that's kind of the subject of the film. It is kind of a terrifying like plot, like it is a fucking bone chilling movie for sure.
And he's an evil Christian too, so that helps.
Very evil.
But yeah, no, as far as, and this is kind of saying something for Robert De Niro, but as far as Robert De Niro roles go, this might be like his most irredeemable. He is like...
So here was my question that I wanted to ask you, and only you can answer this for me, Reese. Like, so my biggest like issue with the movie Walking Away is, so he rapes a couple of people.
Yeah.
And then later in the film kind of reconnects with each one.
Yeah.
And their like response to him, reaction to him, communication with him later on is not of someone who had been raped by them. Like it didn't make sense to me. It didn't click in my mind. Like, why are they talking to him as if he's a real person? Because they should be like horrified. Be like, fuck this guy, get me the fuck out of here. And like nobody reacts that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what I wondered is there something in that additional 30 minutes that explains that to me? Or is there something, are there some scenes that I'm missing?
I don't think so.
No, there's like one or two extra scenes cut from between him and Deborah. One is basically an extension of the scene where he comes to her in the later period and talks to her, and basically you see like a good 3 or 4 minute clip of her on stage performing.
So this is after he raped her and they're seeing each other.
Yeah,
dude, I gotta tell you, that was like one of the most painful scenes I've ever seen in any movie in my life.
Yeah,
because it's just like there's no apology here.
No.
Like,
yeah,
you kind of expect one,
and he borderline like almost like mocks her for talking to him. Like,
I can't. Yeah,
I'm a piece of shit. You're talking to me. I guess you're a piece of shit.
My standards too.
Yeah,
standards are lower than mine.
I really think that is mostly. I feel like it's not as strange in context of the time period. I really don't think. Yeah, unfortunately, women could have the relationship with their rapist that they are expected to have in modern times.
No, I do think that there's a chronological context.
Yeah,
for sure.
I have a zero tolerance for
and that's a thumbs up on that. I think we can. We can all say, "Fuck this movie." Stands by. Rape is bad.
I'm not holding that against the movie because I do realize it was made in a different time. It was set in a different time.
Yeah,
the setting of a different time.
I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good.
I'm not saying it's not hard to watch.
I do have a hard time with that particular subject matter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like they didn't know how to write self-respect for the women.
But the thing is, chronological context. Like, women didn't at that time get to practice that kind of self-respect.
Yeah,
like in the fucking 30s, like that shit happened, and they had to just keep surviving, so they couldn't And outside of just like poisoning a motherfucker and murder him, they weren't gonna get justice. Like they had to just live with it.
And I don't want to get into danger of being too like specific about the rape, but the with this character you were talking, what's her name? The character
Deborah.
Yeah, with the Deborah character. So the rape that happens in the back of like a limo or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fucked up thing here with this rape is that she on some level actually kind of likes him.
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
kinda
they've
fits
literally
in, and,
been
like-
like sweethearts since
and,
they were
like-
like kids.
Yeah, and like he totally could have fucked her.
Yeah, if you just fucking
If he
waited.
just put in the time.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that was the thing.
designated like take her on a date. buy
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
dinner,
no,
and-
well, that yeah,
and, like,
it was a
he got
strange
to the beginning
experience.
of that and just like I'm just gonna fuck her right now.
Well,
and she's
yeah.
just like, whoa.
No, the thing
You gotta
is,
buy me dinner
yeah,
first.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem to have had a good time up to this point.
Yeah,
right?
he was
Like,
just
it
mad
It
'cause
was
she was
very
leaving.
abrupt because like they had a dinner, like nobody was at odds, and then he just
Reese,
like,
I remember
no, now.
you made the joke about how like he didn't know how women work because he's gotten mixed signals like throughout the movie, and it's like
Yeah,
it was a joke, but it's like, is that right? I mean, like
yeah,
like he had kind of in his life gotten mixed signals on that type of because
one of the
because
first things
the
the
first rape
character.
was like basically encouraged.
Yeah, okay, so that's
Right.
what I was gonna say. Is
Yeah,
the Deborah scenes are definitely a lot more painful to watch, especially.
It's a true rape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a true rape. The other one
Yeah.
is more of like a rape fantasy.
and well, that's what it's very odd because so the other rape, which is almost like pretty explicitly looks like a rape,
yeah,
but then they keep doing things where like Carol is like asking him to hit her,
Yeah.
and like almost
no, and
seemingly
she's-
enjoying
yeah,
what's
no,
going
it
on.
sounds,
and
yeah.
then she's
It
in
comes
on it
off like some
later.
BDSM thing.
Yeah.
Like from the get go, they set it up that way. But which takes me back to what I want. Why I wish I had seen the deleted
different
scenes.
strokes for
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
folks.
So, like,
Yeah, and I mean it's totally
So
believable.
there's a scene
but-
at the end of the movie where she's like, "So you and I have always hated each other." I'm like, "Have you?" Because that's
Yeah,
complete
no,
news
yeah,
to me.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
No,
that
that,
was an
like,
awkward line.
I was just thrown aback. I'm like, I thought you guys had this like weird, like kind of kinky, sensual relationship kind of thing.
Well, I
know, like-
think that that's kind of returning to how shitty his character is because like he could have just fucking got laid there, and instead
Yeah.
he's like treating her like a disgusting slut because she wants to go
And then
along and pretend to get
immediately
raped.
goes and rapes someone.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
it's the next
he
scene,
gets
wasn't
the.
it?
Well, yeah. Well, then, yeah. He
In the
later
mirror?
finds
Yeah.
out that she's in on it and has another chance to fuck her, and,
Yeah.
and then he's like disgusted by her
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
and so he leaves, and yes, then goes.
And, yeah,
and-
like it's
Not like
that's the
consensual
thing that
sex.
cracked me up about it is the proximity of those
Yeah.
events, like how close it was. Like, no, I don't do group sex, but I'll rape somebody in a limo.
Yeah.
like in the next fucking scene.
Yeah, it does like really appear that he only exclusively likes non-consensual sex.
Kind of a piece of shit, man.
Yeah,
Like,
real piece of shit.
for sure.
One of the more interesting things they cut were a couple scenes with his later love interest in the movie. That kind of just appears when they go on vacation. The other guy is with the girl he's been with for a long time, but then he just has all of a sudden a new girl.
right.
They cut like 3 scenes out with her that really just like show them meeting.
Like, make it make more sense.
Yeah, and he's also kind of shitty to her, and but like she loves him, like generally does love him.
He's not a very nice guy. He's not a very lovable lead.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, I will say that I guess it's a capturing. of
Oh,
some-
that's what it
some
is.
Part of
He comes back from raping Deborah,
Right.
finds her at the bar, and she's like an off of work prostitute or whatever,
Right.
and he basically like makes her have sex with him. Like without saying like you're a prostitute, I'm gonna pay you. It's another very like gross
God
scene.
damn, yeah.
But
so-
like
more grossness.
Yeah.
the greasiest we've ever seen
You
Robert
just
De
rape somebody,
Niro.
he's still gonna do a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. But you know, yeah, it was weird because there's showings of both things, both sides of things, and I guess sex was. I mean, I've known like.
Well, so I think that's what
in
she's
the life-
referring to because then later when she says you've always hated each other, I think she's like kind of referring more to
Right.
that point where
Well-
he just obviously like is disgusted by her.
At the same time, too, like there's plenty of passive aggressive, like weird relationships that exist in the world.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
like, motherfuckers hate each other and want to fuck each other all the time.
Yeah.
So like I guess it's really just I don't know. Maybe the film is just a really good like expression of the human condition and experience.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like constant
I want to point
passive
out
aggressive raping.
Yeah, yeah.
it's the second James Woods movie that we
Yeah.
covered on the podcast. The first being Diggstown, and Well, admittedly, I'm a huge fan of Diggstown. I gotta say, I think James Woods is kind of underrated. I kind of like James Woods.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, at least
after Diggstown,
previous
I
to the
would
last
agree.
like 20 years, I like James Woods.
I don't think he's fucking. What has he even done?
I haven't seen anything in the last 20. But like
I don't
the shit
know.
he did before the last 20 years, which I have no idea what he's done in the last 20 years. But like, I've seen a lot of things with James Woods that I've kind of.
Diggstown was
A lot
the
of
first
voice
time
acting,
I've
looks like.
watched a James Woods performance, like in recent memory. I'm sure I've seen them,
Yeah.
right? But that
Yeah.
was like actually fresh.
Yeah.
And you know what? Goddamn, it was.
Like he plays the
Yeah.
part, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It was
he
good.
does the job.
I really like. I also was really impressed by the young actor they cast for him because, like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's young James
Yeah,
Woods."
yeah.
I think they did a good job across the board.
Yeah.
With, which I'm always a fan of that when like you got like
You can
a
translate
timepiece
timelines.
and,
Yeah.
The one true issue they had here though
Is Deborah's.
is the Deborah character.
Yeah.
We were all surprised because Jennifer Connelly. This is Jennifer Connelly's first film role, and she plays the young Deborah.
She fucking kills it. At
Yeah.
like 14 years old, and then some.
Elizabeth McGovern.
Yeah.
Tries to take over to be the older version and just does not
Yeah.
hold up.
So I will
Yeah.
say, dude, I haven't like Jennifer Connelly was never. I never even thought about her as an actress until I watched the Snowpiercer TV show,
Oh yeah,
and then went back and like registered who Jennifer Connelly was, and then watched some weird obscure Jennifer Connelly shit. And like, yeah, I mean Jennifer Connelly's fucking pretty awesome.
yeah.
I just watched like a whole scope of her career in the last year.
She's
and
fucking amazing.
she's
I love
I-
Jennifer Connelly. Where is she?
She's everywhere.
Last thing she did was fucking
it's
Top Gun
like,
2.
God.
Snowpiercer.
Oh, Snowpiercer. She was in
the movie
TV.
I always have to recommend if you want to just see. I think it's the greatest
Gun.
Hollywood ass shot I've ever seen. Like if you want to see Jennifer Connelly fucking somebody, and it's basically from the point of view of her ass, and it's amazing. It's called The House of Sand and Fog, and it's actually a really good movie too. It stars Sir Ben Kingsley, not the one fucking Jennifer Connelly, but it's a really fucking good film, and you get to see Jennifer Connelly's ass in a very delightful way.
Sounds like at least a 4-star rating.
Yeah. No, yeah. 4 nuts.
No. Altogether, this movie's a bear too. Also to watch it, dig out a space of time, But
Yeah.
it is a very
I felt like it was more of a bear because we made it out to be a bear, but I felt like when we were actually watching the movie,
Yeah.
like the time
That's
actually
most movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
get
kinda
into
went
the
by
world.
pretty
If it's a
quickly.
good movie,
Yeah, no,
you get into the world and you're like, okay,
well,
I'm
the
in this
pacing.
world.
So the pacing of this thing is good, and like it
Yeah.
starts out strong. Like this for a 4-hour movie, you might think like it's going to be kind of slow going, but like it immediately puts you in all the story. Like you're immersed in an
Right,
action
like,
scene.
Yeah.
right
Oh
out
yeah,
the
the
gate.
intro, which
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I was pretty stoned, I guess, in the moment, but I was like, holy shit, what is going
Yeah.
on?
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to like a good 2.5 hours into the movie, leading up to what's going to happen in the intro,
Yeah.
and you're like getting fucking chills. It's like haunting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, this movie starts
Jennifer
right.
Connelly's performance was actually kind of chilling for me.
Yeah.
like Jennifer Connelly at 14, and she's just like basically just like owning the screen.
Yeah,
Like-
honestly.
like she was fucking
So
phenomenal.
She was very impressive.
That weird, bad horror movie that had the crazy like rock soundtrack. She was she was good there too, and that was about the same time. They may have been.
Is this
second or third.
Phenomena?
Yeah, Phenomena.
Director Dario
Yeah.
Argento.
Yeah.
Oh,
Suspiria.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just watched that the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
day, and
I think she was in a couple of his movies, wasn't she?
How much
I did not
longer?
know that.
was about the same time frame because she's about the same age.
I like his style a lot. and,
That movie was
I
fucking
like her,
weird,
so I'm
man.
gonna have to check these out.
I think
have to do a feature. I might have to do a dive on her because I like everything she's ever been in.
What do you think of the Labyrinth? Because she was in
what do you think of Ang Lee's Hulk? Oh, Labyrinth. I mean, it's fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
You know what? You don't want to get me started on Ang Lee's Hulk because that's a movie that everybody hated, and I fucking really like that movie. And
What about The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves?
So my problem with that movie is that my stepfather's favorite movie was The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original. And so I had seen that movie like 100 times. And so trying to watch a remake was like laughable because you missed the mark on every single level that a movie made like 60 years before this seemed to hit, and you fail. It's actually more than 60 years before, but
I was wrong. She's not in any other Argento films.
Okay, you just made that up. That's cool.
Well, I thought it was like 2 or 3. Sorry.
But anyway, she's phenomenal.
Yeah,
and everything
she
I've
is.
seen her in.
And this performance was good as well.
So they added. This is the thing I was most grateful they cut was like an entire So I think everything with the old Robert De Niro character, old Noodles in the quote unquote present day.
Yeah.
Old balls.
Yeah.
No.
Odals. Is kind of like mysterious, and like Robert De Niro is like pursuing information, right? There's like there is a mystery going on.
Yeah.
And it's pretty subtle. Like you have to be like kind of keeping up with it. And I think when you get to the point where it's revealed that the person who's behind all of this is James Woods, I feel like it's kind of a reveal, right? Like in that moment, like you might know it maybe like 10, 15 minutes before, but it's still a reveal.
Yeah.
And it is so much more obvious in this version.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like
cut the reveal, basically.
Yeah, he's like fucking on it's like a whole murder mystery plot he's following. If you recall, there's like almost a jarring jump cut to a TV news coverage of a car bomb.
Yeah.
He witnesses the car bomb.
Okay.
In the director's cut.
No, you know what? Like, so you're happy that they cut
I
that?
am because I really liked
said all like the theatrical version that we watched. You're saying was the right version.
Yes, I think it was the right. Yeah. I mean, maybe the Leon had a different idea of what he wanted, right? So maybe the theatrical one maybe is literally not the story he wanted to tell. So, but I think it's more interesting than maybe what he was going for.
It's important to watch the theatrical version first because if you don't like, if the entire world has seen the theatrical version, you're like, I'm watching this for the first time. I'm a little late. I'm going to watch the director's cut. And then you go to talk to someone who's seen that movie. All of a sudden, you're having a different conversation. So I actually think it's important to watch. Like, I support your pick. And so I wanted to watch the director's cut because it's what you picked.
Yeah.
But, like, I think for the most part, if I've never seen a movie, I prefer to watch the actual theatrical version and then watch the director's cut later.
So my take on this is just simply that, like, there's too much going on. Because, like, the things that you're saying happen for that storyline, like, all those things gel together make sense. And there are parts of that I was intrigued in watching the film, but then just never, like, it felt sidetracked.
It's vague and mysterious.
And then that made other things felt a little forced in the writing too. But it's like, if you shift these things around, they would have made sense. Like, from some of the stuff in the main film, like, both things could have been the direction and when you cut, really. Like, I feel like at that point, maybe we should have just not had, I feel like, put in the other things about, like, the extra girlfriend or, like, the later girlfriend, which I guess doesn't matter as much if you cut this, but
it worked without it. It was
some
just
of the other elements of the cut
remember her.
could have been, like, take out any of the aftermath shit and focus on just the story of the characters themselves, and, like, probably that would have been a better movie. You know, like, there's a lot of things to cut, and I feel like they probably didn't cut enough. Like, that still feels forced. Like, after the cut's made, what they kept in the original story, or what they kept in the feature-length storyline, some of it still felt unnecessary. So, like, you cut stuff to, like, keep it down, but... Because now, since you brought that up, like, that alternate present-time storyline was the most like felt to me in watching the most forced part of it anyway. It was like you're kind of more immersed in the now, and without enough support, what does that storyline do? You know?
Yeah. I like the amount we get in the future or the present day because it feels like just such a nice framing device for how much things have changed and how much his impact has been almost forgotten.
I agree on a framing device. I like that too. Yeah.
But
to put it in scale.
It felt so much clunkier in the extended version.
Yeah. I also want to point out that with both Robert De Niro and then also the light inclusion of Joe Pesci, like I couldn't help but like make comparisons to a Scorsese film. Also, it definitely had like those elements to it, especially the like just the content. Like it seems like something that Scorsese would direct.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing it changed was it felt like so in the version we watched, I think James Woods is like also a piece of shit all the way through. Like to the end. Like he's bad all the way.
For sure. Yeah, none of these people are good, really.
No, and
he's Deborah character.
Yeah, I mean Deborah's good. Yeah. Deborah's good, but the rest of the guys, the gangsters are
dude, like her 14-year-old, like she's just like fucking like just how she's like how she's basically calling out his entire life.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Like she's like I'm into you for the most part, but like fact is you're kind of a hood rat and you're always going to be a piece of shit. Like so I'm never going to be able to do anything with that. And it's just like she called him out from the get-go and it played out exactly like that.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
And she got herself raped.
Yeah, she got herself raped.
She knew, right? They're 14. Like, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't get in a car with this hood rat. But you did.
And so in the extended version, it feels much more like the politicians are the villains, and they are like pressuring James Woods, and they are trying to get him killed to cover up their involvement in him. And James Wood is trying to like fight, to redeem himself. And I hated that. I did not like that at all. I loved that's
just too that
we saw.
That's too much more also.
It's like James Wood doesn't deserve redemption, especially not like on
I mean really like none of them do. This is a film, this is a story you watch and you're like, I'm just watching what happens to these people. It's really
another thing I want to point out is like this is when you and I have talked about several times because it's been on both of our watch lists for a long time. It's just like who has that much time. But like the like kind of classic scene for this movie is like the James Woods like holding up the wine glass. It's like the coupe glass and he's like toasting basically. And it's like I had that in my mind when I went to watch the movie because I've seen that scene because I've seen it like still frames and like I think it's on the cover box of one of the arts of like one of the releases of DVD or something, and it's like I had that scene in my mind. That scene happens like 3 minutes into the movie. So it's just like I think we're like building up to something. Just like, bah! There's this one scene, and it's like we got 4 hours and 8 minutes to go. And it's just like
Another notable scene was he has a chat with the driver, Deborah's driver, like right before he rapes her. He's waiting on her to come to the car.
He's very pissed after,
and he's acting like a real piece of shit to the driver and like talking real uppity to him and stuff. He's like, no one's gonna remember you. Everyone's gonna remember me. I'm the best there is. It's like, I mean, I kind of like the connection here we're getting between him and the driver. But I didn't like the scene.
Driver
it was
like
not
treats
subtle.
like you're a fucking like. Driver's like really pissed off after the fact. Didn't do shit while the rape was going on.
The driver's like,
that out.
Okay, I'll let you rape her, but I'm not gonna be happy about it.
I'm gonna make sure you know how unhappy I am. I'm gonna stomp off and squeal away.
That was a like fine moment. It's just like premiere some new actor that just comes out of the back and just beats the fuck out of this dude. It's like, who's this guy? Don't say his name. Just like pull him off the stage now. Like.
I also I took note the intermission in the extended edition is 2 hours and 55 minutes into the movie. So like you have to watch a really long movie and then get an intermission.
You get an intermission at the end of The Godfather before you start the Godfather Part 2.
And then it's like you get, not only is your intermission at 3 hours, then you have an hour and 10 minutes left. You're gonna be like, okay, whew, I stretched, I got dinner, I'm ready to go. And it's like, it's over.
Yeah, that's a little weird. All right, so are we ready for final thoughts?
I think we will be ready in
like right now.
Right now.
So, John Brown, what are your final thoughts on Once Upon a Time in America?
My final thoughts after talking about the extra scenes and everything, I feel like this movie, my final thoughts are classic film, as classic as many other classic films, worth the time to watch. Absolutely great performances, but I feel like it didn't know what it was doing at the end of the day after getting the information, and I would feel this way after watching. It makes me curious to watch the footage, but I feel like there were two films happening here. Like there should have been a shorter film, or there should have been a longer film. You know, like it should have been 2 hours. It should have been 5 hours, like or two sequels or something.
Well,
like,
maybe you have access to my Vudu sometime if you want to watch the 4 hour cut because in sequence it might hit different than me just fast forwarding and watching.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So,
but it's just
I'd like to know what you think.
So just on the watch after the information, it does make me feel like, man, there were things that felt like open-ended or distracting, or frustrating, and like with the extra information, what happens in those scenes, like those things would have been different, and then it makes me think like, oh, well, maybe we should have just gone this route. Like, it's fucking fantastic, but it leaves me wanting something else from the story that I can't get, I guess.
Yeah.
And so maybe one day somebody will.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm kind of torn. I've seen a lot of the Sergio Leone's like spaghetti westerns, and you get a very, very different vibe because a lot of those movies are kind of light on dialogue, and I kind of got vibes early in the film that this was going to be similar because there are gaps at the beginning where there's not a lot of dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
It almost plays kind of like a silent movie. And like if you ever seen Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that movie does play like a silent film a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's like to me like the most classic, iconic Sergio Leone pick I can think of. And he definitely has that style. And I think that this was like him doing like his take on an American film, and maybe he reached a little bit too much. I think that what I saw in the first hour of the film, to me, the end of the film turned into more of a Scorsese movie. And so I feel like it started out like legit Sergio Leone, and then I thought that it turned into what Sergio Leone thought that American film should be. And,
right.
And
which maybe that's what the studio
when they put their dick in the way and said this is
maybe the studios were a bit more like this shit isn't gonna sell.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I watched it because I am a fan of his, and
I'm super glad I saw the film too, and I do think people should watch it.
Yeah,
I do. Like for the most part, I do think it's one of the more engaging films he's done because his spaghetti westerns, well, like to me, they're more like visual marvels, and like they're like atmospheric, and like the dialogue does end up taking a huge back seat, and like he does kind of try to dabble in more. Even though I don't think it's like super successful, he like gives it a go and tries to make like a more like Western film.
Yeah,
and so I appreciate it for that.
I might have to turn around and do another Sergei pick sooner rather than later because I'm in desperate need of a rewatch of his other Western epic, Once Upon a Time in the West. Yeah. I recall it being like amazing. So that might be an early pick next year.
Sure.
Yeah, I would be super down for that.
I think this definitely slots right into the little American Greed, Scorsese genre, and I think in some ways visually, I think it's a lot more enticing to me. I think it's gorgeous. I was kind of blown away by the production as far as scale, because like I don't think a lot of these are built sets. Which means they just fucking did, set deck on an entire city block or something.
Yeah.
God,
the
gorgeous.
permitting.
Yeah. Gorgeous visuals of New York. I do think the everyone loves an anti-hero and criminals and stuff. The rape makes it a lot harder to want to come back to for as far as
You're not tied
rewatches.
to anyone. Yeah.
Right, yeah. There's not as much of a likable character.
No,
there's
you're
just
just
interesting
watching
characters.
You're rooting for no one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that hurts a little bit of me wanting to come back to it, but I think in time I will, and I really, really did like it. I think it's a really gorgeous film.
I'm glad you picked it.
Yeah,
because I feel like I never would have watched it if you did.
Yeah, but you always want to, right?
Yeah.
There's just those movies you need an excuse
Enticing
to finally get
for
around
sure,
to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I picked it.
Me too.
Yeah, good pick.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna turn it over to Reese once again here to tell us briefly what is playing in theaters and that you should be watching, and then John is then gonna make the final pick of the year, which will be our it's a Christmas themed movie, which we'll go over lightly, and then it'll be like kind of a year in review.
Yeah. Best ofs.
What was your favorite blank?
Yeah.
So Reese, what should we be going to theaters for right now?
This is an odd week. We got the heavy hitters. I never in a million years would have guessed that you would have seen Wicked in theaters before Gladiator 2. That's odd. I'm hoping to see Gladiator 2 pretty soon. I know it's not going to be great, but I think visually it's going to be very fun.
I'm like honestly, I think there are other things playing in theaters that I would rather see than Gladiator 2 that I haven't seen.
I don't think this Friday. It's kind of weird.
What else you got?
Okay, so yeah, the heavy hitters where you have Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Moana 2. Those are the big movies.
I haven't seen Moana 1. I think I'd rather see Moana 2 than Gladiator 2.
Really? Wow.
I'm like super disinterested. Like Ridley Scott just is not a sell for me.
The cast, though, I've heard Denzel is the
Denzel's
movie.
not a sell for me. Denzel is like
I
the
assumed
fourth character.
he would be the movie.
Yeah.
I bet he'll be militant.
Why I didn't want to watch it, because I could tell just from the preview that it was probably banking on like a couple of key performances.
Yeah.
And
I had a buddy who was big into film one
after
time, and he was a Denzel disclaimer, and he's like, I don't hate Denzel. He's just a character actor. He plays the same guy every time. I'm like, what? And he's like, and I start naming characters that he's played. He's like militant, and it's like, okay, yes, you're right.
Well,
Denzel always plays a militant character.
I just feel like
that sounds kind of racist. Like,
Doesn't?
I mean,
no, I mean, like, he's angry, but every action star is angry.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
the specific using of the word
like
militant
he
is like
does
a
a lot of films
militant-
that aren't action
He's like
movies.
a militant black man, and like
you could pick out
he
about
didn't
a dozen
play a militant
white
black
actors that you like that play the same character in every movie, and you will gladly go see them again.
No, he mostly still plays the same character. I'm not
Yeah,
arguing
yeah,
that.
no, yeah, I
I'm
mean-
just not a huge fan. Like,
I'm a huge I actually there's like this huge whirlwind.
Liam Neeson is militant by today's standards.
Liam Neeson has played the same character 300 times.
But no, I actually think there's a subgenre of people who think that I saw Training Day in the theater. I walked out of that, text my buddies who were film buffs, and I said, Denzel Washington just won Best Actor.
Yeah.
Like hands down, like untouchable. Like he's winning this year.
Yeah.
And like there are a lot of people that think he didn't deserve to win that year, and like he's like he just played a black man, which is who he is, and it's what he's played in every, and it's just like
no, that
it's
is
like no,
not
dude, he
it.
played pure evil. Like I saw the movie, I walked out of the movie and immediately said Best Picture.
No, his
or Best Actor.
his
Denzel
capturing
Washington.
of that character, because he didn't play a black man. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. That's
Right,
sad.
it's just something people say to discredit, you know.
Yeah, no, I know, and like that's the worst. That discredit in that situation is
He was phenomenal.
fucking racist
movie. He
because
was phenomenal.
the character he was playing could be described as, oh, that's a black man, but just like that character being the assumption of what a black man is like the most fucking racist thing ever. He played the role perfectly, and it's the worst part. It's he played the character that sat out front of people's lawns in their garden for fucking, so many years from the 20s to around that time, the jockey guy. Like, he played what people perceive of the black man now in that role. And it was perfect.
It was like a pure evil to me. Like, he just personified pure evil.
Yeah. No, he was a grimy motherfucker.
I regardless of like quality, I do think it'd be a fun, like, it seems like a fun thing to see Denzel play like not a Caesar, but like, a Roman politician.
I want to see the movie.
I know I would enjoy his performance. I know I would enjoy the good performances in the movie for sure.
It's hard for me to get up for these like sequels that are like after the fact and like include none of the original like characters.
I no time was I like, damn, we need a Gladiator 2.
Well, I know.
Also,
Ridley Scott.
The
banking
story,
on him to give me something I didn't ask for.
The story from the Gladiator was he was buttoned the fuck up. It was clean. It was just like it was a good story.
Yeah.
The guy did it like where's the room for the sequel? It's just another Gladiator.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a sequel to that.
It's his son. It's Russell Crowe's son.
Wow.
Which
happens to become his slave.
Die?
Is it really his son?
I believe that's what the story is. It's Russell Crowe's
So what the
son.
fuck? He got freedom, and then his son becomes a slave again.
I want to see it less now. I did not think that was the case. When I saw the trailer, it was like he was like a young slave that kind of like saw what happened to him.
Okay, yes. No, he's not Maximus's son.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He was a young slave that like he's witnessed it as a child.
Yes. And then how he becomes a slave is he's a soldier in another country and gets captured.
That is a better story, but and that's the other thing. That's the immediate thought for me when I saw the trailer is it's just the same movie.
Yeah.
Like, whatever the quality is, and I didn't doubt the quality. I mean, I could perceive that it was probably gonna be good performances, good cast. Like, it'll be good enough. But
as good as Ridley Scott can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same movie. It's the same as another movie. So I was like, would I want to watch the exact same of this other thing that I think is great?
That's kind of how I felt.
And like, it's just the second version of this. I don't.
I really, at this point, if I were to see it, which I am considering, it would literally just be because I want to see a big, epic in theaters with hopefully cool visuals.
Oh, it'll look good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it'll be entertaining enough.
Then we have a new Indian film called Pushpa 2: The Rule.
Does it sound as epic as the last one?
It's 190 minutes long.
They don't fuck about.
Venom: The Last Dance, still in theaters. I don't know anyone who's seen it.
When I was looking at films, because and I'm sure you're about to go off this, there's the Bonhoeffer.
Yeah.
That one looked kind of interesting to me. I think I'm more interested in that film than I was like Gladiator 2.
I mean, it might be good. I don't expect quality from it because I know it's from a Christian film studio because Bonhoeffer's very famously a German Christian. Not that it's not I'm saying it's not an interesting story. I'm just saying it's probably not going to be super well made.
Christian film?
It is, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But I don't know. Watch a trailer. It could be good. Bonhoeffer playing Bonhoeffer pastor spy assassin is the full title.
It doesn't sound Christian. The pastor part does, but the spy assassin.
I think if you kill Hitler, you're like the best Christian ever.
Is that how that works?
As far as Christmas movies, I'm kind of surprised we have a decent amount of selection. I don't think any of them are good, but this one is called For King and Countries, A Drummer Boy Christmas Live. Sounds like a concert. Then we have the Rock movie Red One.
It does have the awesome older guy as Santa.
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
J.K.
But
Simmons.
it looks, at least from the trailers, it looks like he's barely in it.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably... I'll watch it eventually just because J.K. Simmons is in it. I'm not going to probably bother going to the theater to watch it, but I'll watch it eventually.
Sure
yeah. This one
J.K. Simmons, though.
might have the chance of being the best of those three. The best Christmas pageant ever, based on a book. Lead is Judy Greer, though. So, could be fun.
Okay.
But it's still a Christmas movie. And then last, this isn't a big release by any means, but I didn't know we were getting it. It's some like schlocky horror movie just called Werewolves. It looks, I don't know, honestly, it looks kind of fun just from the poster. Real classic 80s
Let's
monster.
Do it. Yeah, I've been saying for several years that we do not have enough werewolf films.
Well, in addition to this, we're getting the guy who did Invisible Man recently.
Oh yeah,
he's doing a new werewolf movie, which I saw the trailer recently. So yeah, maybe you'll get your wish. You can check out Werewolves and check back.
We have a deficit of werewolf in film.
Good werewolf in film.
For real. I mean,
you get about a dozen new vampire movies a year.
I think there's still always technically less because like we don't get good werewolf film, but like we just don't get werewolf film. We get millions of all the other shit.
I think you could use a reimagining because I know it but I really like Silver Bullet. When I was a kid, which is like I think it's like Corey Haim and
there's been some
like it's Stephen. It's based off the Stephen King short story, and it's like a really good like werewolf movie, but like it was very poorly done in the 80s when they didn't have the budget to do like what it needed to be. But yeah, I could definitely see a reimagining of something.
There have been some really cool concepts in werewolf lore in the last
It feels like we always just get
there's space that could be explored and people have kind of touched on it but haven't. So that's exciting.
We always get a Twilight feeling thing, like the werewolf movies always end up becoming Teen Wolf.
We got like 6 seasons of Teen Wolf.
Werewolves are to vampires as predators are to aliens.
Yeah, honestly.
That's not okay, goddammit. Let's turn it around.
I feel like there's like 3 episodes of Love, Death, and Robots that are really
there was a really dope
stuff.
Werewolf episode.
But they're all like 30 minutes or 20 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I want a good werewolf movie.
Yeah,
I think Waxwork might be the best werewolf movie just for the little.
Well, I mean, it might be.
There's good ones. There's not bad ones, but
the American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. So if you want a goddamn schlocky good time, Wolf Cop. Fucking fantastic. Wolf Cop is really fucking.
That looks like in the vein of Hobo with a Shotgun.
But no, there was a Netflix show that the concept of werewolves, they were pelts and people would inherit the pelts, and then like you would like bond with a werewolf that lives eternally in this pelt, and like
interesting.
That's a cool fucking idea.
But then were the werewolves just giant wolves?
I mean, like it turned you into a wolf. But were
you still like humanoid? I mean, because I think that was the most lame thing about Twilight werewolves is that they literally turned into giant wolves.
Yeah, no, they didn't do that. No, you turned into like a werewolf.
Okay.
The other thing that was a very disappointing show at the end, but was actually super interesting, had a lot of good values and points, was Netflix. One of the first thing I saw, the guy that played It.
Oh, it's like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
a series.
It's like something Avenue, or it's like a place.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, it was something Avenue.
It was really good.
Blood Crest, or
But the werewolf concept there was that you just turned into a wolf.
Yeah,
and it was like gypsy, like your gypsy bloodline related. Yeah. Like there have been cool.
There were some positive.
Yeah, there have been cool things for werewolves, and
Famke Jensen was like really well cast in that.
No, it was Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove.
But anyway.
Bloodcrest Avenue.
Out of time.
We are out of time.
This is the longest episode of Fuck This Movie ever. And we need to wrap up because I need to pick up my wife from work. So,
okay.
So that's what we are going to watch in theaters. And John Brown, you are now picking our Christmas extravaganza.
Okay.
pick.
I've got a couple
Portals.
things. I had a few things in mind, but I'm gonna go with some films that one film I love and I watch basically every year. One film that really impressed me when I watched it a couple years ago.
Mhm.
The first film is A Christmas Horror Story,
Mhm.
2015. Super satisfying, fun movie to watch. It's a anthology for I think 3-4 different stories. Well, 3 stories and then like one underlying story through the progress of the film.
Streaming on Shudder.
Yeah. You've got your Santa with elves. You've got Krampus. You've got fucking like a Catholic school ghost story. Lots of things going on. And the other film is one that I watched a few years ago, The Advent Calendar, a Shudder original. That was just a super interesting Christmas horror drama. I really enjoyed it. I've only watched it the one time, so
Okay.
need the rewatch
Cool.
to confirm, but really satisfying movie.
All right.
Shudder double feature.
Sounds good. Shutter double feature, Christmas horror.
Yeah.
Spooky ho ho.
That'll be episode
Ho ho horror.
coming to you December 18th. It'll be the last episode of the year, and we'll include basically our rundown of a look back at the entire year.
Sweet.
So,
Thanks for tuning in.
Hell yeah.
fuck off. We'll see you later.
Bye.